to him again. Unless it's Violet who answers this time. Fingers crossed. Sir! Put some clothes on!
We don't lay next to bees. I need to hold on here. Okay. I hear no bees. I see no bees. I speak no bees. Wait, I hear bees! I hear bees! I hear bees! What? A very amusing game is played with mashed potatoes. I'm sorry, what? How will the mashed potatoes tell us who we marry? Are we we really are going to be talking about with marry? Wow, okay. Into the midst of the mashed potatoes, a dime, a ring, and a thimble should be placed. Mashed potatoes are kind of fire. They are. I just don't know if I would trust the mashed potatoes to tell me who I'm marrying, you know? I feel like that decision should not be left. Don't let mashed potatoes choose your future partner. That's just my opinion, personally. What am I saying? Beep beep. Hi, I'm here to work. To be rat shaming the rats. Definitely not rat shaming the rats. You should never rat shame anyone. It's very bad. It's very bad. Especially because rats are popular, so good luck with that.
Chocolate covered nuts! 60 cents per pound. Smalls. Okay, anyway. They really need it. This is where the D's nuts joke goes, right here. Right here. Okay, these people were married. That's nice.
What do you mean you need water still? They're right here. Do your job. Do your job. What's wrong with you? You're over there dying of thirst. You're like, oh my gosh, I'm so thirsty. You're the one who's in charge of the well's right here. Look at that. You can just drink. You can just drink. Slurp it up like that. You're in charge of the water. God. This is your skill. This is what you're good at. She sneezed on me. Oh my God. You're watching that soap too, huh? Oh my gosh, you won't believe what Francesco did. I can't wait until you find out. I can't wait. You should talk to that one lady too. I think Malcolm should have told his wife, you know, that he wasn't actually dead. So she wouldn't marry Francesco, because what are they going to do now? I think I read some theories on Reddit that Malcolm and Francesco are going to have a duel. And I don't know, who do you think's going to survive? Because like Malcolm is like a hunter, right? But Francesco is a trained soldier. And like, I mean, who's the better shot? No one knows. No one knows. Jesus doesn't know. Mary doesn't know. No one knows, actually. Doggy. Look, at least he died in front of Jesus, right? And he died doing what he loved. Smoking a cigarette and watching his soaps. But now he'll never know how the duel turns out between Malcolm and Francesco. It's really sad. Give the embers to me. There is one last thing I need from you. Come closer. Ugh. Never like it when a witch says come closer. Especially when she says there's one last thing she needs from you. There. Don't look like that. It was only a small prick. Just a drop of blood. You won't miss it.
And like there was one time where I had to do a quest by the end of the season, and it was like, you know, day 2, and I'm like, oh okay, oops, I didn't really need that. I'm like, I can go back. Where did it go? Was there just one? Oh, there it goes. No, come back, come back. It's rolling away from me. Okay. It was day 2 of the season.
Oh, you. Come back. Come back.
Hail, friend.
Hail, friend. Okay. How are you doing? Oh, I think she likes this one. Not to be understood, but to be felt. -5. Ooh, she doesn't like what makes you the expert. Ooh, she clocked. Hello, 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 hello. Oh, look, there's my... By the way, there's the link for if you want your own bingo card, you can get your own bingo card to play along tonight. Sorry I'm late. I was
arguing with my mom. So I know the ads still aren't over though, so I'll probably say it again in a little bit. But I was arguing with my mom because my mom is pro ICE, pro Trump, pro MAGA, pro racism. She says she's not, but then like when you point out her racism, she's like, "Well, then I guess I am," you know. And so I was arguing with her about stuff. So, um, it wasn't good. Sorry. I'm probably gonna be like a little, I don't know, I'm just a little distracted by that. It was like an hour long and I did a lot of yelling. Um and sometimes tried to talk quiet, but then she would yell. And it's hard when people are working with complete misinformation, but you can kind of undermine them a little bit. She's like, no, the Marines are definitely needed. The National Guard is needed because the police themselves said that they were overwhelmed. Okay, well, if they were overwhelmed by the protesters, then why were they not actually used against the protesters? But I guess my mom also feels that there's a lot of really crazy violence happening right now and they're still overwhelmed. I don't know why they're not using the National Guard though. Like, why are they here and not being used if the police are overwhelmed and rioters are running amok all over the city? Um, you know, why send the National Guard here if you're not going to use them? But they're protecting the federal building. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's like, okay, well, were you going to use them against? Why did you send all of that? You sent a lot more than are needed to protect the building. And then why the Marines? Well, because there's possible, apparently, she thinks it's okay to deploy the military against US citizens because of possible future violence. Mm-hmm. And I don't know, she's on the East Coast. Like, it's not even her business. But as far as she's concerned, she's like, yeah, we should just, kick out California. And it's like, okay, well, we're the world's fourth largest economy. We contribute 8 billion more from to the federal government than we get back. And she's like, well, then fine, you'll just be who's going to take care of you when there's fires? You won't get any aid. And it's like, but we'll have the money we didn't give the government for that. That aid is the money we got from the government. So we'll be fine. Like, it's just like, and there's a lot of dumb people online too that are like, oh well, who's gonna feed California then? We won't send you food. That's fine. California's like, I think, the largest agricultural producer state, or one of the largest. Like, at this, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. But yeah, arguing with my mom was frustrating. It wasn't a talk. Let's be real. It wasn't a talk. I didn't want to debate it with her. I just wanted to point something out about how people say there's lots of overwhelming violence here and there is not. It's pretty chill. But my mom is of the opinion that there is overwhelming violence here. It's weird because you would think it's not an opinion thing, but apparently it is. And she's on the East Coast, but she's seen some videos. She's seen some videos, you see. And she's like, there's way more. It's mostly violence, actually, and not peaceful protesters. Tried to explain to her how algorithms work. She's like, I keep seeing videos of the violence, but I don't see any videos of peaceful protesters. Right, because you are on right-wing YouTube. So you're getting that. The viewers of this stuff that you're watching also agree with you. And so you're only seeing the stuff that they want to watch. And she's saying, like, no, it's not the algorithm because it was a live stream. And I was like, Mom, live streams are still affected by the algorithm, actually. Like, maybe she doesn't know what the algorithm is. Maybe she doesn't understand that concept. Which honestly might explain why she so firmly believes all of her like right-wing ideas, because she doesn't realize that that's not all of the stuff. She thinks like that's the majority idea, that everyone is right-wing and it's crazy to be left-wing. to be a progressive. She thinks everyone believes this, obviously, and it's like, Mom, that's just your algorithm on YouTube. Like, stop watching that crap. Except when I was home, like, I swear, anytime I went to talk to her, when she was like out in the living room, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't seen my mom in 3 freaking years. It's been 3 years since I have gone home to visit her last summer," and I was like, maybe I'll go out and talk to her. So I go out to the living room, and I'm like, "Oh, hey, mom, hi, blah blah blah," and then like she clearly doesn't want to talk to me, and she kind of stops talking to me, and like, and sometimes I think, because honestly, I'm probably not that funny when I stream, but I'm actually pretty funny. I can be pretty funny. But I think I'm my funniest when I talk to my mom, but that's because I had to develop that like funnier personality to keep her attention, because she would always watch oh, while Honey Boo Boo. You guys remember Honey Boo Boo? There was Honey Boo Boo, and she really enjoyed watching Honey Boo Boo because it made her feel better about herself to see people who live worse lives than her, she said. um and then she wouldn't listen to what I was saying, and I'd be like, "Well, mom, this happened in school," and she's like, "Uh-huh, uh-huh," and she's just like toning me out. So, but if I said funny things, then she would pay attention. Or if I made fun of the show we were watching and stuff, that was good. So, but what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but we go home and she's like, I go home to visit her, and she just watches these like, right wing YouTube videos, and she's, transvestigators and stuff who are sure Michelle Obama is a man and things like that, right? And she's watching these videos, and she knows I hate that stuff. She knows I hate that stuff. But she's watching it anyway, and I don't think she's watching it to convince me of anything. I actually think she's watching it just either one, to get me to go away, which is crazy that I come to visit her after not seeing her for 3 years, and she keeps wanting me to come visit, and then I finally visit, and she doesn't want to talk to me when I show up. And like, she acts like she does, but only for like a couple minutes at a time. And then, like, maybe for a couple minutes, she really wants to talk to me like a couple minutes a day, really. And so then I talk to her, but then she puts these videos on, and she doesn't listen to me anymore. And I can't tell if she's putting the video on to get me to go away, or just to like annoy me because she's mad that I value and respect trans people, or whatever the case might be, that she's, whatever the beliefs are, she wants to jab at me. I just remember that one in particular. But like, and so she just wants to rile me up and punish me, kind of, for my beliefs by inflicting her beliefs on me, and she wants to make me suffer, and I hate that. And it's like, this is why I don't come home to visit you. This is why I don't visit you, because like, who the hell wants to deal with that? And But then the funny thing is, like, the one thing I know that she doesn't watch that isn't like super, really that bad, is Moist Critical. But like, she would only watch him when I wasn't in the room, and I was like, "Put Charlie back on, mom." I'm like, where'd he go? um, but like, she wouldn't watch him when I was in the room. She would literally, I'd come out, and she'd switch the video to something like very antagonizing that bothered me. But if I was like gonna go out to the kitchen to like grab some food, or if I was going to the bathroom and I was passing the living room, then I would see she's watching Moist Critical sometimes. Sometimes she is watching her, the other stuff too. But hey, Brain Tumor, welcome, welcome. I was ranting a bit about my mom because that's why I was late for stream, because I was arguing with my mom about stuff, about the ICE raids and the protests and stuff like that. You didn't miss hardly anything. I've been streaming for 13 minutes. Haven't even started. Just all you missed was me ranting about my mom and how frustrating it is to have a conservative mother that you talk to sometimes. But I probably won't call her for quite a while. She prefers me to call her almost every day if I can, so that she knows I'm alive. But I don't think I'm gonna call her for a while, because I do this sometimes. Sometimes she's homophobic, and then I don't call her for a while. Or your mom died 5 months ago. Well, that's a shame. I'm sorry about that. My mom uh is all for the deployment of the military against US citizens. She's all for trans people I guess dying, I suppose. She's so I'm not going to be grateful for my mom because she's a horrible person. So I'm probably not going to call her for a while because I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to be like, oh, I should just bash those people. I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. And I'm not going to agree with her. And I'm not going to agree with her that all of LA is erupting into violence because that's just not the case. And I will not be gaslit into not believing my own eyes. Like, the thing is, my grandmother was like this as well. So, and then she died. And honestly, like, kind of sad, but also kind of not. Because it's really hard sometimes to be sad when someone who is honestly just a hateful, hateful person dies. You know? Um, just because their family doesn't excuse the hate. So I don't I, I don't care. I don't care. Um and it's very upsetting. When to hear this sort of stuff. And especially for me who like lives in LA, and the way she talks, she's like, fine, then maybe you just deserve all this stuff. You guys deserve to because of course she thinks that like if we don't round up, you know, all of these undocumented immigrants, which I got to throw Trump's words at her today. I'm like, well, apparently people who are here and not doing any other crimes are not worth deporting, apparently. So, and she's like, nope, nope, they are, or ICE isn't deporting them. And it's like, nope, nope, they are. And she's like, well, fine, you can keep them in, and you can suffer the consequences. And I'm like, wow, glad you care about me so much. It's like you'd say she's worried for me. She's like, no, but I'm worried because I don't want those people out there with you. No, no. She's like, if you want those people out there, fine, you suffer. I don't want them back here on the East Coast, is all. She never actually once expressed concern for me in the whole conversation. She apparently the situation is so bad. There's so much violence out here. Like and all that. And am I good? No, I'm just ranting. I'm just ranting. Um, I'm mad, is what I am. I'm mad, and it's my stream. And if I want to make an explanation for why I'm like an hour and 45 minutes late for stream, I can do that. So, and I like to talk about this stuff. I know a lot of streamers don't, but I like to talk about this stuff. I like to talk about my stances on issues because otherwise I get really conservative people in here. We play Life is Strange, and people are like, being really weird, and they're kind of like, I don't know, two girls kissing, and it's like, well, we're cool with it here. If you don't like it, you can leave. Or especially Life is Strange 2 is kind of a tough one, and not everyone in my community really liked it, but then they left because I made it very clear after like a while. I was like, no, I don't want this like passive aggressive arguments coming from my chat. I don't want to have to, if you don't agree with these things, I'm not going to fight over them. Like I did that a little bit last fall, fought with people on some of this stuff. And like get why they about them. It's not about them. They feel like it's about them. They feel like their safety is ultimately in danger. Basically. And like one way or another, because there's like crazy conspiracy roundabout reasons for why they are in danger. Yeah, I know. It's they're using misinformation, and yeah. They're just using misinformation, and uh and like stupid reasoning, basically. And to be fair, I will say, so a lot of the people in the country who are very hateful, it's less about who they hate. They just hate people who are different from them, right? And at that point, it's not really about any of those people. Like, do they hate those people for those things? No, they hate those people because they are not the same as them, right? And to a large degree, a lot of that hatred is out of a feeling of defensiveness, because they might be poor themselves, they might be suffering themselves, they might be sick, they might be hurting or whatever, and they feel very, very defensive, and they feel like they need to, in order to protect their own interests, they have to attack people who are different than them, right? Because they feel like the people who are different from them are the people who, and they fall for propaganda, basically, kind of, right? But it's propaganda that they are uh kind of predisposed towards. This happens all the time throughout history, right? It's like, hey, look at those people, they're different than you, they're causing the problems. Hey, Cubert, welcome, welcome. I'm ranting about people who are racist and homophobic and transphobic and things like that. Um, but uh, but yeah. So sometimes I like. Basically, the point is sometimes I like to uh, you're homophobic to yourself. Well, that's don't do that. Don't do that. Bad. But uh but yeah, so I like to talk about these sorts of issues and stuff when they come up, and so I'll probably be talking about the stuff in LA for a while because I am here, so I feel like I am, I'm not planning on going to any of the protests or anything like that. I don't really have a lot of like friends and family or anything like that out here, so I feel a little bit more vulnerable in that sort of situation. To go to protest just kind of by myself, it's not particularly safe. There's protests? Oh, yeah. What? What? Are you serious? In LA? Um, yes. Um, but so I'm not gonna go to that stuff though. But I, will stay here in my neighborhood, and I will reaffirm that my neighborhood is nice and peaceful, and we do not need the National Guard here in LA. We do not need the Marines. The LAPD can handle any violence with these protests because, again, I'm very familiar with the LAPD over the past few years of me living here. I'm aware they're heavily militarized. Oh, you don't keep up to date. Okay, well, basically, ICE showed up to Home Depot's last Friday because under the premise that Home Depots are where a lot of Hispanic immigrants will hang out in order to find work. And so ICE shows up to those places and kind of, hey Alex, I'm explaining the protests in LA. ICE shows up to these places and they rally, gather up the people. They show up in unmarked cars, ununiformed, masked, right? So like they show up completely like undercover basically. They show up and just like start like shoving people in vans basically. They and the problem with ICE and ICE raids is people are being apprehended and detained and deported without due process. Yeah, yeah. Well, we're talking about LA for a bit, but yeah, yeah. And the problem is it's people should be afforded due process due to the Fifth Amendment. If people say, "Oh, well, but they're not citizens," the whole point is you don't know if they're a citizen until you have done the due process, because what if they are a citizen? Like you need to still give them their fair trial. And if they aren't, you still can't treat citizens of other countries that way. Like that you that's going to get you in so much trouble with the other nations if you treat people like that. You can't just say someone shows up from another country and does a crime and you execute them or something. Like you can't just do whatever you want with criminals in your country. But because yeah, I mean technically being here without proper immigration papers and status is illegal. That is true. Um but like it's not worth deporting them over it. And if you want to, you have to charge them with the crime of not following immigration law, give them their trial, and then deport them. That is how our justice system works. And it works like that for a reason, because we cannot set a precedent of accusing people of crimes and punishing them without trials. That's very bad. So so anyway, so they were doing that. There were protesters. It did get turning a little bit violent, but the LAPD showed up and it was dispersing. But then Trump used this opportunity to deploy the National Guard. And then people got really mad and things got even worse. And the protests and kind of got more violent. And I don't know. Honestly, riot is still a stretch to me based on everything I've seen. But because like there might be rioters at the protest, but it's not like uh thorough enough of rioters for it to call it a riot, really. But then they were burning Waymos, like I know, right? Because they like were like, oh, let's call them here, so they know that they don't have people in them, and they're corporate cars, not private property, and so the people were burning the Waymos. Also because everyone hates Waymos, so like, good riddance. And people were burning them, and then and again there was some violence, people throwing stuff. Uh, I don't know. Apparently there were cocktails. I don't Molotov cocktails. I didn't see any. There were a lot of fireworks that people were throwing. And then I think some bricks, some cop cars on fire. But like honestly, as far as violence and civil unrest, it's kind of minor. Like let's be real. It's not not that big of a deal. Um and of course police in response is using tear gas, which internationally is seen as so bad that you shouldn't even use it in war, but you know, our police uses it. So and against our citizens exercising their First Amendment rights. And with questionable levels of violence to call for it. But you know, that's not really the point. That's fine. Like, I mean, it's not fine, but like, that's not really what people have the biggest issue with all this. Because again, Trump called out the National Guard, which again is still not needed. But that way, the LAPD is heavily militarized. Which is something that was being talked about a lot, especially in the 2020 protests and riots and stuff like that. The LAPD has like military grade arsenal, and the reason for that is because of the North Hollywood shootout that happened in North Hollywood up in the valley in 1994, I think. Basically there was a bank, a guy had like really heavy grade weaponry. He like barricaded himself in the bank, and police were having trouble actually out shooting him due to their weaponry were actually inferior to his. So now they give police really, you know, really high grade weapons, just because, you know, criminals might also have high grade weapons. So LAPD is LAPD is a huge portion of the LA budget, has very large number of people in it, and also has again plenty of riot gear, plenty of and also the stuff was worse in 2020, and the LAPD, you know, had it covered. So like anyway, so basically Trump deploys the National Guard. He does not send like food and supplies and like stuff for the, you know, like bedding or whatever. You know, he doesn't have stuff for the National Guard. They're just kind of here, and they're all kind of like sleeping in a room on the floor together. And but with and he, you know, he did send the supplies. They haven't done anything. People are saying like, oh well, see, that justifies it, because the protests would have gotten really violent and turned to full-blown riots. But the reason they're not isn't because the LAPD can handle it. It's because the National Guard has stopped it. However, the National Guard were never used against the rioters and protesters. All they're being used for is protecting a couple federal buildings downtown, and they're stationed outside. Most of the National Guard that was sent has just been sitting around and hasn't actually been used because it's not needed. Now, technically, in most ordinary circumstances, Governor Newsom is in command of the California National Guard, and they are under his control. Trump, however, overstepped and did not even consult Governor Newsom before he deployed the National Guard. So like technically, can he do that? Maybe. Newsom is arguing with the courts and stuff about that, but uh but definitely like it's at the very least uh uh like not proper chain of command. He should have, you know, it's not proper. It's not how things are done. At the very least, it might also be illegal. The courts were like, we can't give an outright ruling on this immediately. We have to consider. And I don't know if they considered. Yeah, I think they were holding those hearings today, but you know, that might still take a while too if the rulings didn't come out. I don't know. But yeah, and then Trump also deployed 700, I think, Marines, which it's like, bro, the National Guard already isn't needed. Why are you deploying 700 Marines? However, the Marines never showed up because in order to obey these commands and actually be deployed against US citizens, the Marines need a hell of a good reason to do so. For their own dotting the I's and crossing the T's sort of paperwork. But they haven't been able to figure out a reason to actually show up within themselves. So the Marines actually haven't shown up. So they weren't using any of this either. Meanwhile, people in LA, no one in LA wants ICE here. LA is a sanctuary city. I know a lot of the places, like where those, some of the original Home Depots I know were in, I think, Compton and Paramount type of area, which technically is not the city of LA. It's the greater Los Angeles metropolitan area and the county of Los Angeles, but is not in the city of Los Angeles. So I don't think it's a sanctuary city, and no one even actually is really sure if sanctuary cities even count anymore these days. And if that matters, or if ICE is just allowed to ignore the sanctuary city thing. But the point is, no one in LA wants ICE here. Like, literally no one. Like, even my work sent out stuff for, like, here's where you can track and report ICE if you see them. And just, like, people in the community keep track. So if you see ICE, you describe where you saw them, what they look like, and what they were doing. And so people can keep track of them and try to keep, everyone safe. Yeah, just monitor ICE activity. People doxed the hotels where ICE was staying at. So people then showed up to these hotels to protest, and the hotels have been, after in response to these protests at these hotels, the hotels have been kicking ICE out of the hotel, and ICE has to move to a different hotel. So they've been bouncing around a little bit while they're here, because no one freaking wants them here. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of, yeah. Protests and organized movements are great. They're great. It's such fun. No one wants them here. No one wants them here. It's pretty unanimous. There are a couple crazies who, are just like racist. That's true. But like 99% of LA does not want ICE here. Go away. Don't want you. But at this point, I think some federal people, Trump and a couple other, I forget exactly who at this point, they threatened to arrest Gavin Newsom. His response was, yeah, sure, come and get me. Because he's crazy and feral, and we love him for that. His handling of the homelessness issue we don't necessarily love, but we love how feral he is, and we love that he hunts Republicans for sport. It's just fun. It's sometimes nice and refreshing to see someone like that. you know? But not a lot of politicians have that level of conviction that Gavin Newsom has. And he loves California. He loves California. So yeah. And a lot of people have been showing up to these protests with Mexican flags because, they're flying their flag in either it's their flag or, they're Americans flying the Mexican flag, white Americans maybe even, flying the Mexican flag for support, since it is largely Mexican immigrants who are being targeted. And Candace something, I don't think so. But then people are saying like, oh, it kind of, they're shooting the Mexican flag. It looks like an invading force. I think that's stupid. But a lot of people are saying to bring American flags. Oh, Candace Owens, right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of Candace Owens, but yeah, people bring like the American flag. They're saying bring the American flag to protests so that if like cops start shooting at the protesters, then it looks like they're shooting at, they will be shooting at people holding the American flag, and they're shooting at American citizens, because if people are waving the Mexican flag, people are spinning it to be like they're shooting at an invading Mexican force, because people are a little bit dumb and like don't like fully understand what's going on. Well, they don't care to understand what's going on, but it's an optics thing. And then this Saturday there's gonna be a lot of protests all around the country. No Kings protest. Trump is holding a like I don't know. It's like a parade in his honor or something like that. I don't know what the hell he's doing. It's some sort of little. I was gonna say something a little bit inappropriate there. But a little parade for him. And but people then in response are holding No Kings protests. And of course there's already protests going on here in LA, so ours will be really big, but there are lots of others and stuff too. But people are across the country are saying that all of LA is burning, all of LA is erupting in violence. It's literally just like 5 blocks downtown. Like it's really not. And then like a couple protests are, like I said, around like the hotels where ICE is staying and stuff like that. But it's really not much all, at all. And also, no one goes to downtown anyway. I mean, like obviously, some people do, but downtown is not like where the majority of LA lives. Let's be clear here. Um, and like it is nowhere near the level. It's not like saying Manhattan in New York City. It's not like that. Um, and it's off in the corner. It's not even the center of LA. It's kind of off in the corner of LA. Like, and as someone who was here, I can say like the whole city is not erupting in violence. Honestly, the biggest danger in most places of the city is ICE, not the protesters. And there are some, you know, like some people being violent at these protests because there are always going to be people who, you know, are going to be riled up and you know use the stuff going on to, you know, to commit violence and stuff like that. But the, you know, general idea of the protesters is do not be violent and stuff. And then the but it's pretty calm here and peaceful for the most part. Pretty nice these days. But people are like literally showing photos and they're like, look, no, the city's filled with smoke. And it's like, bro, that's the marine layer. I say this on stream all the time. It's cloudy. May, gray, June, gloom. It's actually been a little bit cloudier these days. The June gloom is kicking in. Um, but it for the past like month, it has been like most days cloudy until like noon. You can find, and even maybe even a little foggy. You can find so many photos of cloudy, foggy, like overcast areas, like because like you could take that photo any morning from the past month, like you know, and people are maybe and they're like, no, it's fire from the Waymos burning, like, dude, if people are burning, they're like they're burning stuff downtown. If they're burning stuff downtown, the Hollywood sign and Venice Beach are, well, it might not be. Maybe it was Santa Monica. Anyway, Santa Monica Beach and the Hollywood sign are not really very close to downtown. You would not be seeing the area be completely covered in smoke from a burning car downtown. I know this because I have seen many burning cars around the city because for some reason cars just catch fire a lot. I don't know why. I've seen at least 5 separate incidences of burning cars on the 405. I don't know why that's the case. They're completely engulfed in flames. But like that's just the way it is. I don't know. It's maybe something to do with the pressure change or something because they're at places where like I imagine there would be a pressure. There is a pressure change, and like maybe that had something to do with something in the car. Yeah, no, I've seen at least five, like fully engulfed vehicles. So when people are like, no, they burned a car downtown just this afternoon, it's like, yeah, that's not going to engulf the whole city in smoke. How big do you think this city is? LA is a very large city. One, it's very populous, but it's also just very large. Like Manhattan, or not just Manhattan, but New York City is very dense. LA is nowhere near as dense as New York City is. So, like, you know, when you think about these cities, it's very spread out, or like Tokyo or something, you know. No, you haven't missed the bingo. I'm just starting. I am ranting and talking about LA and stuff again. I'll probably switch over to bingo here in a minute. But because I'm late to stream, I've only been streaming for like 40 minutes. Because I got an argument with my mom about the protests and ICE and all that sort of stuff. Because you know she is all for ICE and things, and I'm not like most of LA, but she feels that that they need to be here anyway, and just for the rest of the country because if we don't get them out of LA for some reason, they'll fly to, I don't know, Illinois or something and start raping and murdering people. I don't know. They seem to want to be in California, which is literally why they're here, but you know, sure. But yeah. I always want to see would never go. It's just LA is not scary at all. LA's fine. Like, don't go to really bad neighborhoods, but like, and it depends on if you want to walk everywhere. Like, there are a lot of homeless people around. And there is a lot of violence, but like, mm, it's not really that bad. It's not. There are a lot of positives to LA is the thing. So there's some negatives, there's some positives. Kind of, it's as someone who kind of grew up in a small town, like I'd way rather be here than a small town. So rather go to New York. New York's pretty good too. New York's pretty good too. I like New York. I like LA because my job is really good, and the jobs in New York aren't as good. So, but hearing about that recently, a few folks, oh yeah, with ice. Oh yeah, as you've been to LA, it wasn't bad. Yeah, it's too hot. It's actually not that hot in LA. It's a lot hotter in a lot of other parts of the country. Um, like right now, we had a scorching high of like 68 degrees today, something like that, which is not bad for June 12th. So, it depends. It depends. LA has like an average temperature of like 80. So it, does get really warm in the 90s in the summer, but a lot of the country gets that warm, if not hotter. So LA's not that bad. It's not that bad. The valley can get pretty hot though. The valley is a lot hotter than like the basin area. So it kind of depends on where you go. LA made up a lot of different climates. It's a big city. It's a big city. And so it has different climates within it, actually. So, um, it's kind of like in some ways you can kind of uh I notice people move here, like streamers might move here, and they don't realize that they need to be careful what they say about the weather because they'll be like, "Oh, it's blah blah blah," and I'm like, you just ratted yourself out for what part of the city you're in." um, and they're like, "Oh, the sun, I see the sun," or "the sun was rising at blah 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 when I got up," and I'm like, especially sunrises. Sunsets are not quite as bad because a lot of the areas are clear by sunset, but sunrises, um, is when a lot of the and sometimes afternoon rains and stuff too, but it kind of depends. 68 sounds like a dream. It's 110, yeah. And it's never going to get 100. I mean, in the valley it might get to 110, like in uh August, September, October. Like those are the hot months. July starts getting a little warm, but not too bad. August also starts getting warm. Honestly, I feel like September is probably like the worst month, but Pennsylvania gets cold. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm from the East Coast. I'm from like the Northeast. So, uh I'm used to the cold. I prefer the cold. And that's like one reason why I'd rather go to New York. I'd probably like prefer to live in New York because of the weather. The weather in LA sucks. That's the worst part about LA. To be completely for living here, visiting, it might be that like, navigating and getting around might be difficult if you're like trying to avoid hate driving in the snow. Yeah. Yeah. So that's why New York is great because one, it doesn't snow all that much in New York City, and two, use public transit. So, um, but yeah, LA's public transit is not very good, and the underground metro is a nightmare, and for uh and like I said, yeah. So again, if you're not from here, getting around could be tricky because again, you can't take the public transit. Traffic is really really bad. And so if you want to take an Uber to get anywhere, it's going to cost you a lot of money because it's traffic's really bad. And if you want to even just walk a short distance, you might have like a homeless encampment that kind of blocks the sidewalk, and you might have trouble, navigating around that. So like that, those are some of the issues. Some of the issues of LA, and housing is very expensive as well. But it's like an issue that New York has actually even worse. Um, I believe, in like Manhattan in particular is really bad. But for housing prices. But yeah, for me, in my opinion, the worst thing about living in LA, and that's for living in LA, is the weather. The weather. It's so sunny so often, and it's not even that it's hot. Because some days it's sunny and hot, some days it's sunny and chilly. It never gets cold, and it like hardly ever rains. And I miss snow. I like snow. I miss snow. I miss the rain. I miss the cold weather. I like that stuff. I don't like it all the year. I wouldn't want to live somewhere where that's permanent. But I do like it. So I like a variety of weather. I like four seasons. I enjoy having four seasons is nice. And that's the stuff that I really miss. So that's the hardest part of LA. The hardest part of living in LA is the weather. And I was thinking about moving back to the Northeast next year, sometime this not next year, for next year, like sometime this summer. But so I applied for like a couple jobs out there, but it doesn't look like they're panning out. So um man, it's one of those situations where like, you don't even hear back from them, but you're like well overqualified for the job. And you're like, man, what? Who the hell else applied to this? And because you don't even, it's not even a job that would get many applicants, is the thing. Like, it's not really a desirable job right now for many people, like in my field, like without getting, too, don't want to explain too many details, but basically I should not have had much competition, let's just say light competition. um and I am well overqualified from the basic minimums yet. And I also think I fit the vibe of the job too, for some of like, the like softer type of like mission philosophy, type of things. I thought I worked really well for that, but I didn't even hear back. And I'm like, that's crazy. That's crazy. Who the hell's applying for this job? So you never know. You never know. Anyway, let's get into playing bingo. Hold on, I need a drink and then we'll play bingo. You can get your own bingo card with the link at uh the link in chat. And it should get you a different card that we're using on stream. Let me make sure I have the right thing up. Okay. So here we go. Here's our card. Here's our card. And for the stream anyway, you can have a different card. You got your bingo card ready. It's different than this one, right? It's not card number 5. Just to double check and make sure it's working. Just to make sure it's working. Oh wow, you can barely see the chat over there. Well, that's fine. Eventually they'll get better chat box stuff. It's on my list of things to. Okay, good. I wanted to make sure I put the right link in. Okay, so these are the things for our stream card. You might have different things on your card. There are plenty more. So I usually like having bingo cards where not all of the things are on every card, because if it's just a matter of like the order, it's a little less fun to me. Okay. This is our card. We're looking for baseball because we're usually looking in like the 1890s to like 1920s, I think. And like obviously you can see some of those decades also on this card here, and they really liked baseball back then. So if we might look at a newspaper from Florida, have a ... okay reaction. They might talk about electricity. They're really into that newfangled electricity stuff back then. Sometimes there's funny animals. Sometimes there's really weird stuff the animals are up to. A newspaper called the Gazette. There are a lot of gazettes. Pianos. They like to have ads for pianos sometime. We usually don't see that. But if you ever get it, you know what? If we ever go to ads, I don't know when our next ads are, maybe 15 minutes or so, but if you get an ad for pianos, that's crazy. But we're looking for ads in these old newspapers for pianos, or any story about a piano, if there's pianos in the in an article or something. But it'll probably show up in advertisements, because the advertisements are kind of crazy. That's why the free space is furniture ad. You've never done this. Well, most people haven't, I imagine. But yeah, furniture ad is our free space. I think it's a free space on your guys' card too, because there are always furniture ads. And this is if we get a newspaper from the 1890s. That's something we can control, as well as the state. So we'll probably be targeting those, because streamer's choice. This is our stream card. So if there's a famous person, maybe I actually, what do I mean by famous person? I think if it's a person I know, it's be your first newspaper. Oh, bingo, yeah. They're fun. It's fun. You guys will see. You will see. So if there's a famous person like Edison or something like that, or sometimes there's other people, I don't think it can be like a president, because I have the presidents listed here. So if there's a famous person, if there's a train wreck, if there's racism, sad face. Once again, we're not celebrating racism on these cards. Just to be clear, we are recognizing and calling it out in bingo format. Okay? And I know it sometimes might be weird, because we might have like, this, and we might be like, racism, yes, bingo. But we don't mean yay racism. We mean yay bingo. Just to be clear. Disclaimer. So race, because there's a lot of racism, so it deserves to be on the bingo card. I also have sexism. It's not on this card, but yeah. So we're treating the isms correctly like that, and I'm a girl, so I can put sexism, and then I'm giving racism equal treatment, just to be clear. So it's not celebratory. If we see a horrific death, like I mentioned, furniture ad. Some of these deaths are pretty wild sometimes. If we see a funny death, because sometimes some of these deaths are kind of funny, you know, in a sad way, but also a funny way. Spectacles. Sometimes people wear spectacles, not glasses, spectacles. But we'll give it if it's glasses too. But you know, spectacles have a vibe to them, and most of the time, that's the vibe. Progress. If we actually see literal progress, positive things happening in society, yay, then we'll put it here. If our response is just, what the fuck? Then we get this square. Sometimes that happens. Ice cream. There's this like newfangled thing called ice cream parlors, or soda parlor, I guess, where they serve ice cream. And you can they put in advertisements into the newspapers advertising their ice cream. So sometimes if we see one of those, we get to mark ice cream. Kind of similar to WTF and okay. If our response is what, then that's this one. 1910s. So if it's a paper from the 1910s, if it's a paper with Herald in the name, so again, we have some control over that because we can choose it. If there's a picture of furniture, not all furniture ads have a picture of furniture, but sometimes they do. There's a lot of like couches and stuff that end up being they're not often photographed, sometimes they're drawn. They draw the picture of the couch they're selling, but that's fine too, or if a photo, whatever. That is going to be this. If there's a rhyming poem, a lot of times they like to have a page of little funny little poems and stuff for some reason. So if there's that, if we get a mention of William McKinley, which we won't see in the 1910s most likely, but maybe in the 1890s if we get later in the decade. And then if it's a paper from Ohio. So though that's our card. And your card might have different things. Okay, and so here we go. This is newspapers.com. I'm on my newspapers.com account. And I've already chosen our date range, kind of randomly selected the dates from our rough duration of 1884 to 1928. And since we have since we have Ohio and Florida here, let's choose those as our newspapers. So let's go to Ohio first. I'm kind of scared to go to Florida. I'm scared for Florida. Oops, okay, yeah, never mind, it's fine. I was like, I thought I forgot to set something, but never mind. I'm good. Okay. So yeah. So what does our card say again? Gazette or Herald. So we're probably going to be trying to find Gazette or Herald in Ohio in the 1890s. It's our goal. So we want the Gazette or Herald. This is all going to be eating commercial. How do I? Newspapers. There we go. The Dayton Herald. And this tells us how many there are. Like, how many different, like, issues of the newspaper there are. So, some of these have a lot. Usually one that has a larger amount. You're from Ohio? Well, perfect. We'll see what happened in Ohio in the 1890s. And, so usually like a paper that has like a large number is really good just because like if it has a smaller number, it's usually like, I don't know, like specifically uploaded kind of. I don't know. It's kind of like too selective. But if it's like this, it's like we have a good option to choose from. Can we sort through more papers? There's no scroll option here. These are just the ones we can choose from. What if I just say Herald? They're choosing all of these. Well, I want from Ohio. Come on. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. We found our Herald. Okay. Ohio is either going to be super chill or super crazy. No in between. They're all a little crazy. I just have to say, they're all a little crazy. Okay. All right. I might have to tweak our age range because we were going for. Why am I choosing 1890s again? I don't know. For some reason, I decided to do 1890s. Okay. Okay, yeah, sure. Monday, April 30th, 1894. Herald or Herald? Oh. Herald with an A. But if there were other heralds, maybe. Okay, well, I guess we'll do this one, because it's the one that came up. Actually, I mean, yeah, I guess so. Why not? Okay. Well, we want to go to page 1. We're on page 8. That's too many pages. Okay. Page 1. There we go, okay. The Dayton Evening Herald. Oh, I kind of wish you zoomed in and out with the scroll wheel, the mouse wheel. Okay, this is what our front page looks like. It's a really stupid looking front page, I'm not gonna lie. There's hardly any pictures besides these people. The armies. What is this? The recognized want medium of Dayton. What? Does that make sense to other people, to you guys? The recognized want medium of Dayton. I guess it's describing the Dayton Evening Herald, but what does recognized want mean? I'm so confused. It's like AI wrote this. Did AI write this in 1894? Oh, that should be a new category in future. Sounds like AI wrote it. Because I've seen some weird things before. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit so we can actually read stuff. All right. The armies. COXEY's forces are encamped in the suburbs of Washington. A tie-up of a railroad system threatened by sympathizers of General Kelly. Colonel Galvin and his followers will probably leave Ohio for Pittsburgh Rail. Okay, no one cares. The Galvanites. COXEY's camp. Yeah, it's nice. A diabolical scheme. Negotiated through friend Frank Stannard to hang the jury for... Okay, I don't care. A shot at the Archduke. Ooh. I'd be saying people want this paper. Yeah, that's what I kind of figured, but it's certainly a weird way to say it. That's just standard from Vienna says that the express train in which Archduke Joseph was traveling from Budapest to Graz was shot at yesterday. The bullet entered the compartment next to the one occupied by the Archduke. Nobody was injured. It is believed that the affair was connected with the attacks made on the Archduke by Hungarian papers for his attitude on the Kossuth question. 10 persons killed in a landslide. News has just reached here of a tremendous landslide reporting out of Quebec, which occurred at Waterfall Friday. At Waterfall, you know, the place everyone knows, Waterfall. A mile of land with farmhouses and their contents were thrown into the Stan River bed, and 10 persons are reported to have lost their lives. Editor of the Post was stricken with paralysis a week ago. Is very low. His death may occur at any moment. Okay, that's kind of depressing. May Day celebration. 20,000 men will be in line. Line for what? I don't know. Oh, for the parade. Okay. And 500 women. Well, it's not very many women now, is it? A young lawyer, strange suicide. What makes it strange? A young lawyer committed suicide by shooting himself through the heart. He was in the best of spirits during the day and settled a number of accounts. He attended the state Republican convention last week as a delegate. He was a nephew of ex-state Senator Lemke and bid fair to have a successful future. He was unmarried and well-to-do. No cause is assigned for the death. Or assigned for the deed. Okay. I was like, assigned for the death. Suicide. Apparently. I don't know but you can't just say strange suicide in the headline. Shot through the heart is definitely interesting. Eh, I don't. I don't. All saloons closed. For the first time in many years, the saloons Sunday were closed wax tight, and not one arrest was made for any violation of the liquor laws. The state of things is due to the strict enforcement of law by Mayor Denny. Mayor Denny. Arctic explorers heard from. The North Polar Expedition under the command of Walter Wellman has arrived here en route for the island of Spitsbergen in the far north. Oh. Pretty Irish girls. 1,000 of them seek homes in this country. An army of 1,000 pretty Irish girls have invaded this country in search of husbands. Look at this immigrant talk. 500 were landed at Ellis Island yesterday from the steamship Lucania. They were the 2nd Battalion. The first arrived on the Teutonic last Wednesday. These have nearly all gone west in the hope of finding good homes. The battalion will probably leave in a day or two, after they have had an opportunity of seeing the city. 4,000 Italians also arrived here within the past week. Yeah. Oof, this is if we had sexism on our card, then that would definitely be sexism. But nope. Don't have it. Not on my card anyway. Okay. Fire. Oh, fire burned down a hotel. 300-person killed in earthquake in Greece. Yeah, that sounds about right. Pretty standard. A decision that for that I don't know if it's like an okay for the pretty Italian girls. It feels like it could be an okay or a W2F or what, but I don't think it's quite hitting. It doesn't quite hit. Oh yeah, yeah. You mark 1890s. Yeah, we can mark 1890s and Herald, even though it should have an A, but it'd be spelled differently. But that's fine. I don't know why I spelled it like that. I think I was using one newspaper that did spell it like this. When I looked it up, and I was looking through a list of newspapers and was like, oh, what are some common newspaper names? And I just spelled it like that because it was spelled like that on the newspaper. Hmm. Okay, I think. Oh, and of course we have Ohio. Okay. Oh, good thing I chose Ohio because it's like a corner spot. Maybe I should have gone for 1910s, and we could have been like trying to hit a bingo this way, but we'll see. Antitrust. That sounds so boring. What is this? Who are these people? That's one mustache. For sure. The bride is the daughter of the late James. Oh, these are just people who just got married. The wedding presents were numerous and costly. After spending a few months of their honeymoon in the East, the East, Mr. and Mrs. Beale will leave for California, where the groom has a large property. A penitentiary scrap. 2 officials of the state prison make an ugly spectacle of themselves. What, are you trying to just embarrass them in the paper? That sit down and they fought, I guess. I don't know. Oh, this is a fight as in like a boxing fight, probably. A Chilean award reduced. Arbitration between Chile and America. Okay. Feeling it on the lakes. Oh, a coal strike. There's a lot of coal strikes. New labor organization. That's cool. Conflict imminent in Tennessee. Conflict in Tennessee. Hey, pardon. The game. Our bingo game is going. I haven't really we literally just been reading these papers for like 10 minutes, maybe, if that. But we have these spots marked so far. We're still on the first page. Jellicoe. It's like Jello. Positive information comes from the Coal Creek. Oh, this minor strike. This is just like in in the game. Just like in the game, in Scarlet Hollow. Positive information comes from Coal Creek that the miners there must walk out or take what the Jellicoe miners give them. The latter have asked that the Coal Creek miners strike May 1st, even if their contracts do not expire for several months. The Coal Creek miners are backed by their operators, and nothing less than state troops will prevent a conflict. Okay, recruiting at Lima. What are we recruiting? Tramps. Several hundred tramps. 25 arrived there Wednesday, but many others have joined them until they're about 300. Is that supposed to be several hundred? You're really... I'm confused on the numbers. They're after COXEY and will make a break for Washington in a few days. Another party is camping east of the city along the same road. They're also bound for Washington and are laying for a train. Okay. So who exactly is COXEY and why are all these people talking about him? 120 people precipitated into a river. What? A terrible accident occurred here today while the pier was crowded with persons in holiday attire waiting for the steamer which was to convey them to Galatz on the Danube. The pier gave way and threw about 120 persons into the water. Many of the excursionists are believed to be drowned. Yeah, it's like, that's okay, it's like sad. Oh, look at how they spelled Romania. But precipitated is just weird. It's just weird. What is this about trains? Oh yeah, this paper is the recognized want medium of Dayton. Choleraine abroad. Many persons stricken in Lisbon, Portugal, but they recover. Well, thank goodness. Mrs. Henry Ward Beecher, her moves from her old home, says she cannot pay the rent. From New York. Who's that? Why are we reporting this in Ohio that in New York City some woman can't pay her rent? Maybe they all know who she is. Who the hell is COXEY? Oh, a woman's suicides at Niagara. Caustic revolutions. I don't know COXEY. Committed suicide here by jumping into the American Rapids. Right, that's just small town things. What, for COXEY or for the woman in New York? They're the coolest person ever. Oh, person. Yeah, but she's in New York though. Is the thing. This is an article that they printed, but that is like reporting from New York. Like, New York thought it important enough to write this article. Mrs. Mary Finnegan in Buffalo committed suicide here by jumping into the American Rapids from Willow Island, about a mile from the falls. She came here about noon and wandered about for an hour, finally reaching the spot. Her body was carried down to a point near the Cataract House, where by a peculiar turn it was swung into an eddy, and a portion of her dress caught firmly by some bolts that projected from a submerged crib about 25 feet from the shore. Jack McCloy, the guide, made a daring journey with a rope around his waist and reached the woman, but she was dead. The woman was about 50 years old and was well dressed. Okay. So yeah, a lot of people are talking about COXEY here. COXEY this, COXEY that. All those tramps, their quote, not mine, are coming up for COXEY. Everyone's talking about COXEY. Okay. I think that's it for the front page. I don't think this front page is particularly appealing. I think we'll try the next page. COXEY is the greatest myth on the side of the O. Well, if you spell COXEY that way. This is a different COXEY. Everyone cares. Ivory soap. It floats. Is not lost in the tub. Wow. What innovations? I don't think we count as progress. Win the International Dictionary Prizes. You can do so by consulting the Standard Dictionary. It is in the public library, YMCA library, and in the libraries of our best scholars. If it is more convenient, we will show you a copy at your homes. If you will write a postal to me to that effect. Wow, to me. The Standard has 175,000 more words than the International, and 75,000 more than the Century. Ooh. What? You can win international dictionary prizes if you get the Standard. So they're really pitching the Standard Dictionary. But why are they doing it? Because this has more words than the International. Why are they like... What? I'm confused. Colored glasses. In every shape and shade. Okay, we do have spectacles here, but I usually mean like a picture of spectacles. The method did a number on your sense of color, so... Okay. Stormy conditions. Oh, here's the weather. Professor Foster's local forecast. He's a professor. May 1st, storm wave on this meridian. Interesting wording. May 2nd, wind changing. May 3rd, cooler and clearing. May 4th, moderating. Thank you for the hydrate and posture check. You see two? See two what? And then May 5th, it will be warmer. Stormy conditions are promised for tonight and tomorrow morning with cooler temperatures by tomorrow night. Fascinating. Oh, here's the weather. Let's see what the weather was like April 30th in Dayton, Ohio. Here's the temperature. Looks like a high of 85. That's pretty warm for April 30th. McKinley mentioned and a distinguished gentleman. Oh, was McKinley mentioned? Oh, right there. Okay. Yep. Well, we'll get it. I'll you don't need to call them out as we go through. I'm looking through. I'll get to things. But we'll mark it. Right, that's one of the reasons why we picked 1890s, because we knew we'd probably get a McKinley mention in here. But not 1910s, because I mean people might still talk about his assassination, but less so. A lot of people today forget he was assassinated. There's no distinguished gentleman here though. That's like a picture, and there's no pictures of a distinguished gentleman. Glasses, yeah. But when you see them, they saying glasses is oh, that's okay. It's okay. There's just a lot to get through. Okay. These city items are boring. The GAR, what is that? I don't know what that is. Attorneys at law. Free. What's free? Lace curtains. Hmm. Real estate. Oh, look, here's corn and wheat and oats and tobacco and all the market information. Why cough yourself to death when Dr. McElhenney's cough syrup is positively guaranteed to cure coughs and colds of every description? This remedy is well known to every family in the state of Ohio. This remedy is now being prepared after the formula of the late doctors, blah, blah, blah. This cough syrup, blah, 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 blah. A good girl. Girl wanted. Lots of people want girls. They should check out those pretty Irish girls that are invading. You don't notice? Oh no. No, okay. Doesn't look very interesting though. Pork stuff over here. Not really very interesting. Sugars and syrups, sort more of the stock market. I just say deaths. Oh. Oh, okay, these are the deaths. Oh, okay, I got it. I was confused because it was with the stock market. These are the people who died. 86-year-old, 15-year-old. Very sad. Very sad. The deaths. The markets. Right, more market stuff. Royal baking powder. Absolutely pure. Highest of all in leavening power. Latest US government report. Wow. News of the courts. These are people suing each other. Getting up into all their business. Sentenced for manslaughter. What happened? Trial continuing 19 days. Or sorry, 17 days. I don't know where I was reading 9 from. These guys. 3 of the men engaged in the recent Kanawha Valley strike at Eagle and Montgomery were convicted at Fayetteville of involuntary manslaughter, sentenced to the 1-year imprisonment in the county jail at hard labor, wearing the ball and chain. Wearing the ball and chain! Whoa! Crazy! Wow! Crazy. The evolution of medicinal agents is gradually relegating the old-time herbs, pills, draughts, and vegetable extracts to the rear, and bringing in into general use of pleasant and effective liquid laxative, syrup of figs. True remedy. Get your figs. For sale by all leading druggists. Get your fig laxatives from the druggists. English language in cathedrals. Manager Satoli has ordered that English be the language of all Catholic cathedral churches in America. The order applies particularly to La Crosse, nearly all other Catholic churches having one English service. They had to start having the English services. No other medicine has equaled Hood's sarsaparilla. Oh my gosh, I always see Hood's sarsaparilla ads. And the relief it gives in severe cases of dyspepsia, sick headache, etc. Sick headache, as opposed to the other headache. Okay, this was our McKinley article. The eve of a coming battle. Doesn't really look. Speech. Not particularly interesting. What is this article? What? Where did this article even come from? Oh, it's this still. Okay. Never mind, it's fine. Okay. This page I don't think was very good. I'm gonna go next page. Yeah, sarsaparilla. Kindling. They got a lot of pine kindling. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Wait, what? Okay. Oh, theater. Makes sense. Bo Brimble and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Wow. Pipes. Kindling. I don't know. Cheap excursions to Texas and Arkansas. Wow. Everyone wants to go there. Glorious Woodsdale. Just more like houses and stuff, I guess. If mothers only knew. During these days, how many children are complaining of headache, feverish... Oh, this is an ad. If mothers only knew what Mother Gray's sweet worm powders would do for children, no matter... or no family would ever be without them. Mother Gray's sweet worm powder acts on the liver, cleanse the stomach, move the bowels, destroy worms, and are harmless as milk. Wow. You can get your deworming powder for 25 cents for your kids. Apparently children all have worms. Apparently. Last year, the total consumption of tea in this country was 88,131.038 pounds. Wow. Oh, here's how you can cool water, guys. Yeah. Old pseudoscience. It is not generally known that water may be cooled almost to ice water temperature by putting it into an unglazed earthen jar and hanging it in a current of air. The water permeates the porous vessel and evaporates rapidly, thus cooling the water in a very short time. Hmm. Okay. Cleveland's baking powder. Wow. I don't know. I saw other baking powder on the previous page. Just saying. $100 reward for what? Any case of pimples that cannot be cured. Oh, they got me with the clickbait. She's to make cool water. Yeah, yeah. Clickbait. She runs an elevator. St. Louis has a feminine elevator boy. She is young, rosy cheeked, and pretty, according to the St. Louis papers. The pink of propriety. Does not whistle or smoke cigarettes, polite and willing to give information. In short, a decided improvement on the surly chaps usually found running elevators. Do something, not drop the temp to near freezing unless it's near freezing in the wind. Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't say. They said to cool it. Well, I guess they did say to almost ice water, but ice water isn't frozen water. It's water that has ice in it. So, let's cool it down a little. And almost ice water, so not quite that far either. What's in the second column? I didn't read the second column yet. Oh, more lace curtains, guys. Did you know that they have lace curtains? They have lace curtains. Okay. What is this? Element tribute or something. That sounds very good. White lead. Great. Why are we getting lead? Oh, to mix lead into your paint. Guys, you can re-lead your paint. You just get it from National Lead Co. Your apartment's making you not making you not use lead paint. Did your apartments not have lead paint in them? Well, don't worry. You can buy the lead for your own paints right here. Following brands are the standard old Dutch process, and just as good as they were when you or your father were boys. These are the brands, the good brands to put lead in paints. Don't worry. Don't worry. Social and personal. I was like, social problem, no. Woman who works, hold on, we'll look at that in a minute. Um, Contributions to this column are solicited when accompanied by names for verification and written only on the side of the paper. Okay, on one side of the paper. What? Oh, okay. You can. This is saying if you want to submit stuff to here, this is the formatting you need to do. Got it. People are engaged. Uh, Someone came back from a winter visit to New York City. Someone visited their parents in Springfield. Someone is visiting someone in Cincinnati. Uh, some other people are visiting this city. Wow. Are visiting Dayton. Crazy. Uh, this person is visiting someone on just another street, I guess. Someone has been a business tour of the East. Ooh. Miss Agnes Hall has returned home after a pleasant visit of 3 weeks with someone else in a different Ohio place. Someone returned home from visiting someone on West 5th Street. Someone is spending a few days with her parents. Ooh, Professor Robert D. Brain, the musician and author of Springfield, is in the city. Ooh, very exciting. Uh, Someone went through a trip through Florida and other southern points. Extended the account of the expedition of the YMCA. Okay. on YMCA talk. Oh, someone's having a quinceanera for her 15th birthday. Evening was spent in playing games, social conversation, and other features. Ooh. At a late hour, the guests departed, well pleased with their entertainment. I'm glad they all had fun at the party. This person will spend their summer. Hey, her name's kind of like mine. Will spend the summer at Denver, Colorado. Visited people in Dayton, very exciting. Dayton getting visitors. These people are visiting en route to their future home in Chicago. Ooh. This person went back to LA. It's where I'm at. A short stay with her parents. Okay. And some people came back from a bridal tour. Very exciting. Okay, what is this? The woman who works. Actually, wait, we didn't. Do we? No, we didn't. Land of the Magnolia. They impart a delightful and exquisite odor to the room in which they are placed. Okay, are we just... Surprise party. Saturday evening, Miss Laura Underwood and her friends took Miss Flora Reeder by surprise at her home on West 5th Street. Oh wait, wasn't someone visiting someone on West 5th Street just up above? Wow. West 5th Street is really happening. It was her 19th birthday. The evening was spent with music, games, and singing. At a late hour, refreshments were served. These are all the people who showed up to the party. Wow. The story really continued somewhere else. They had so much to say about that surprise party. Okay, yeah, here it is. These are the other people who showed up. Okay, the woman who works and is tired will find a special... Oh, clickbait again! Dr. Pierce's favorite prescription. Perfectly harmless in any condition of the female system. Promotes all the natural functions and builds up and strengthens, regulates, and cures. For women approaching confinement, nursing mothers, and every weak, run-down, delicate woman... It is an invigorating, supporting tonic that's particularly adapted to their needs. But it's more than that, too. It's the only guarantee. People are acting like someone's reciting this, right? This sounds like a speech, like an ad that's being stated. But it's more than that, too. It's the only guaranteed remedy for all the functional disturbances, painful disorders, and chronic weaknesses of womanhood. And female complaints of every kind, periodical pains, bearing down sensations, internal inflammation, and kindred ailments. If it ever fails to benefit or cure, you have your money back. Something else that pays the dealer better may be offered as just as good. Perhaps it is for him, but it can't be for you. You know what? If it probably wasn't a scam, like, that's a nice idea to be like, you know what? This is a medicine specifically tailored for women. And because, yeah, you know, sometimes women have different medical needs, but it's a scam. So, you know, they just saw a marketing opportunity and took it. Stiff hats. Another party. Wow, everyone's partying on this page. A good record. Derangements of the kidneys and liver lead to impoverishment of the blood, from which spring many troublous... We're going medical school, guys. Look, we're gonna learn medicine. No, it's an ad. Humane Society. Don't forget the Elks Entertainment and Music Hall. Okay, this is just boring. Around the World in 80 Days. Did Jules Verne ever think that his imaginary Phileas Fogg would be eclipsed by an American girl who once made the circuit in less than 73 days? But Phileas had to take second money. The fame of Dr. Pierce's golden medical discovery. Oh my god, it's another ad! Yeah, I know, I'm aware. That's why we laugh at them in the games. I don't think... Usually it marks as elixir, but we don't have elixir on our card. But I think not everything is elixir, because if they're just like, it takes care of cost, but that one about women, I would say, is an elixir, because of the way it's kind of like, it'll cure anything anything bad that happens to women. So that's very elixir quality, especially because it has a very particular type of scamminess to it. Around the Road in 80 Days caught you off guard. Yeah, I definitely didn't realize it was an ad again for medicine. Sunday school rally. That's great. I doctored for years for biliousness, but nothing ever helped. Oh my gosh. They made it look like an article. They made it look like a news article in this ad. The blood of a 4-pound eel contains sufficient poison to kill 10 men. Cooking makes it harmless. Fun facts, guys, if you want to kill 10 men. Ta-da! A French officer was caught trying to steal the bulletproof coat that Taylor Dow exhibits every day in Berrillo. Children cry for pictures Castoria. I don't understand all these words. What they're saying. An old darky arose recently in one of the Southern prayer meetings, exclaimed, "Oh, my bad. I didn't realize that was a slur." Don't cancel me. I'm assuming that's for black person, I guess. What a weird slur. Oh yeah, because they're speaking in a bit of a dialect here. Having a dreadful time. Uh, what is that even for? What? What are they doing? What are they even trying to say? Are they just trying to? I think this is racist. I sense some racism going on. Free, something's free. Hmm. Rheumatism and kidney. My God. Restores manhood. Oh look, it makes it makes your mustaches perk up. Just your mustaches. um Result of nervous disease, which if neglected, oh okay, I have trouble reading. Okay. Performs wonders in a few days. Here we go. Okay, make sure it scoots over so we can see the whole thing. Oh, I don't think you can see the whole thing anymore. We'll have to scoot back. There we go. Okay. That's fine. That's quite okay. Crane's vital force nerve food. Performs wonders in a few days. Lost sexual force, weak memory, lost brain power, nightly emissions, weak, despondent, low spirited men and women as well. The result of nervous disease, which, if neglected, will finally result in insanity or consumption. Crane's nerve food cures quickly and permanently. Try it. Before and after using one. Just, I know, it's so funny. It's so funny. Attorneys, a busy man's pencil. Wow, you can buy pencils. A pencil ad. Yeah, insanity or consumption, one or the other. I mean, to be fair, it's kind of like our like medicine ads on TV where they're like side effects include headache, diarrhea, stomach cramps, uh heart attack or death. Like it's like, wait, what? I'm still of like a huge opinion that death is not a side effect. It is an effect. Busy man's pencil. Busy man sometimes suffers more nervous irritation and mental annoyance. Why are they so worried about their nerves all the time? I mean, I guess to be fair, anxiety is an issue. They were trying. From the use of a pen or harsh, brittle pencil, than from the cares of business. It is Blair's Blackamoor is a busy man's pencil. It is designed and made especially for him. The lead is large, soft, and smooth, and will almost write itself. It is octagon and will not roll. It has no fancy end. It's just solid common sense and a lead pencil for quick, easy black writing. Try a sample. Each pencil is guaranteed, and if it doesn't prove good or is unsatisfactory, return it. We are also the makers of Blair's writing tablets, Climax, Paragon, and Good Luck. Huh? Oh, writing. Okay, writing tablets, right? Like for letters and stuff. remember seeing a medicine ad and some of the side effects would be like internal combustion. Yeah, that's a weird side effect. Oh, look, a harp. You want to buy a harp? You can get one here. Crazy. Oh, never mind. It's a harpist. My bad. She's a harpist. But you want to hire a harpist? Rocco Satalia. Oh, probably he. Is a harpist, and he will play for balls, private parties, picnics, etc. Oh my gosh, there were so many parties happening. He should have gone to the parties. Ladies and gents, silk, warp, Gloria umbrellas with the largest assortment of handles. Wow, so many handles. That's nice. Everyone loves a good handles. Bradham's microbe killer. Oh my god, they put so many words in this ad. Who was gonna read that? Not us. 3 important features to consider in buying your spring clothing. Okay, you don't want to look ugly in 1894. Okay, you have to think of the styles, right? We gotta look and see, make sure we stay fashionable. Quality, style, price. Those are 3 things we need. We need quality, we need a good style, and we need a good price. I'm not going for those bad prices. They have the best of everything in gentlemen's wear. If you want in this direction, we can supply you. We have all the latest cuts in frocks and sacks. If you want to buy a sack to wear, don't worry, this place has got them for you. Prices are more than reasonable, keeping in mind, of course, desirability in regard to style and quantity. The style and quality, right, our other 2 things. Prices are reasonable, considering style and quality. So they're like, prices are reasonable. I mean, considering we're in style and it's high quality, the prices are really good. I don't think you gotta just lie and say cheap, cheap, cheap. Just like down here when they were like free, free, free. This business is what you need, not free, free, free. Instead, you're like, it's a reasonable price considering they're very high quality and stylish. Stiff hats, summer hats, and caps. Sol Strauss, the leading clothier, hat, and furnisher. Wow. Okay, next page. Man, this paper's kind of boring, not gonna lie. Reform tobacco. What the heck? It's a big ad. Your tobacco. Rock salt. Okay, hold on. There are too many ads for boring things. Royal guests. Oh, bomb throwers. There were bomb throwers. Wow. Some people died. Oh no, on this date in history. This is fascinating. Let's see what they thought in April 30th. I thought these were deaths, but, well, some of them died, but somebody adds in no furniture. So true. So true. Calmly, Lucan died by his own hand at Nero's order. Oh, right, yeah, I remember. He was one of Nero's suicides. Last of the Knights Errant died in Italy of wounds. You know, sometimes I ask people if they know what a knight errant is, and everyone acts like I'm crazy. And I'm like, but a knight errant. And they're like, what the hell is that? I'm like, knights errant, you know, wandering knights that travel the land. And they're like, never heard that in my life. I'm like, but he was born in 1475. And then he died in 1524. So he was like 49. That's not bad for a knight, you know, like, because he's in a lot of danger and stuff. Like, I mean, he died of wounds. Maybe he should have stopped knighting by, like, you know, his 40s. Because, like, he's probably getting kind of old. I don't know if he's as good as he used to be, you know? But that's him right there. It's a photo of him from just before he died in 1524. Francis Xavier de Laval Montmorency, first Canadian Roman Catholic bishop born in Laval, France, died in 1706 or 1708. In 1632, John Count de Tilly, famous imperialist soldier in the 30 Years' War, died. In 1662, Mary II of England, consort of William of Orange, was born. She died in 1694. She didn't live very long. 1771, Hosea Ballou, founder and reorganizer of the Universalist Church of America, born in New Hampshire. He died in 1852, often confused with his nephew, the same name, who died in 1861. Oh, fun fact. In 1789, George Washington was inaugurated as the first president in New York City. In 1852, John Young, governor of New York, died in New York. Okay, cool. In 1854, James Montgomery, a British poet, died. 1889, the centennial of Washington's inauguration was first president, celebrated in the great cities of the United States and even in Canada. Okay, do your duty tomorrow. I first saw that and I thought it was procrastination, but I think they mean the work you have tomorrow. Like do your work, not today's work tomorrow. Do tomorrow's work tomorrow. Be prepared to answer the question: is it hot enough for you? Oh, because we were saying it was getting up to 86 degrees on April 30th, and that's kind of warm for April 30th in Ohio. So everyone's gonna be like, "Hey, isn't it hot?" So true, so true. Since the rule was passed to dock congressmen for loss of time, they have been more inclined to form quorums and listen to each other talk. So they started paying them less if they didn't work a certain amount of time. So now they show up and just talk at each other just to make sure they're hitting their time quota. If you missed your art supplement, you'll be supplied by making that fact known at the counting room. If you go to the counting room, they'll give you the art supplement. Other states may learn a valuable lesson about how to deal with lawlessness by reading how Ohio authority was enforced at Mount Sterling without the loss of life or firing a shot. See, people are being lawless. You don't have to fire a shot or any tear gas at all. Oh my gosh, more about COXEY. Here he is talking about things again. COXEY not only originated the Industrial March, but he has proven that such an undertaking can be successfully consummated within the violation of law. Oh, but he's a general though. So is he a general or is he like an activist or something? That's kind of what that sounds like. I don't entirely understand what COXEY's doing. The mystery of this newspaper is what the hell is COXEY doing? That the American part of the world, at least, is becoming better is illustrated by the wonderful growth of fraternalism in that broad branch of brothers, the Oddfellows. It is a potent factor in promoting friendship, charity, and good citizenship. Okay. A historical authority states that on the first day of May in the year of redemption, 1620, what? The year of redemption, 1627, is a interesting way to say the year. Certain ungodly people set up on the eastern shore of Massachusetts the first and perhaps the only maypole ever erected on American soil. Are they being sarcastic? Or well, if it was the first, it was definitely only one that had been erected at that point in time. It was at the top of a bare hill called at first Mount Wollaston, but afterwards I must know about the first ever maypole. Marymount, now within the limits of the town of Quincy. It was only a few years afterward that the maypole was formally abolished by an act of parliament in order to be taken down and removed by the constables, foreshoulders, tithing men, petty constables, and church wardens of the parishes. Oh, they don't allow people to have maypoles? Oh, here's freaking COXEY again. Something about Paris. BCA? I don't know what the BCA is. Apparently they want to have maypoles. Isn't that so crazy? Popularity of asphalt. People love their asphalt. Look at all the pavements. Wow. Hmm. Look at this gentleman. He might be a distinguished gentleman. Okay. A watercolor coupon. What do you get, though? Not paying part 2, numbers change every day. What? It's so confusing. I don't understand what they're saying. Oh, maybe I need this part. A World's Fair coupon. The World's Fair in watercolors. Cut this coupon out and keep it until 3 of different numbers are accumulated, then bring them together with 10 cents or 5 2-cent postage stamps, 2 cents extra by mail to the paper, and you will receive the elegant portfolio of the World's Fair in watercolors as advertised. Wow, okay. It's a weird way to say, hey, we're selling a watercolor painting version of the World's Fair. Number 1. Oh, this is the number 1 coupon. Okay, and then this explains part 7 is number 1, and this is part 6. I don't understand why there's both. Okay. Word has been received here that a fierce fire is raging along. Oh, see, more fires happen. It is claimed that ants rank next to man in intelligence. I am not sure that's true. What about coffee? The Wilson-James tariff bill, freaking tariffs, puts a duty on mushrooms imported from France, where they are grown artificially in caves, and shipped just like Stardew Valley, and shipped to this country in large quantities. It is said that gardeners in the vicinity of New York have procured the seed, and that invasive species, and that in the course of a season or so, mushrooms will be as much a marketable luxury as any other vegetables. Feels weird to me to consider mushrooms a luxury. But I guess that's why they became only as like other vegetables. There's also a tariff on acorns. There's a goddamn tariff on acorns and dandelion roots? Who's importing acorns and dandelion roots? Just go out and get them from your backyard. What a horrible waste of imports. If my villagers in medieval dynasty were like, you have to go out to the town and you have to buy acorns and dandelions, I'd be like, I'm gonna have one of you guys be my herbalist, and you can just get dandelions for me. This is crazy. Herald readers, it'd be interesting, Herald readers, to learn that these importations enter largely into coffee, being substitutes for ground coffee. What? They're entered into coffee, being substitutes for ground coffee. So you make coffee out of acorns instead of coffee. You can still get them outside, regardless of what you use them for. But I do like they pointed out what you use them for. You can go outside right now and find a handful of both. Yeah, it's like, this is insane. This is insane. Yeah, tax that crap. We don't need to import it. Maybe that's why they put high tariffs on it. Maybe they raised up the tariffs to discourage people from importing them. That would make a lot of sense to me. Will shut out a good deal of this stuff and undoubtedly improve the quality of coffee. Oh, good, yeah. That's what their point is they're like, man, people are making coffee out of acorns and dandelion roots, and it sucks. So now the coffee will be better. But I don't understand, because they're like, oh, well, now with the tariff bill, we won't import that stuff anymore, so the coffee will get better. No, dude, they're just gonna go out to the backyard and get the acorns. Once again, you never needed to import them. There are 2 crimes here: importing dandelions and acorns, and also using them to make coffee. As a not even they didn't even say using them to make coffee. They're making coffee out of them by substituting them for ground coffee. How do you make coffee by substituting the coffee? That's insane. It's insane. It's insane. Guess dandelions can be made into a tea too. Yeah, you get them from your backyard though. So it's sarsaparilla again. That's what that is about. Oh, a book. Mr. Stead. He's got a book going on. Fast time. Okay. Doors wide open. Big saloons of the city doing a lively Sunday trade. On to Sunday even? Yes. Communications and well, these are amusements. At the matinee today, Ada Gray will commence a week's engagement at the park. Oh, okay. Cool. They're having performance and stuff. Okay, this is a guy. A mere skeleton. Is he? He doesn't look like it. He has like a pretty round face, actually. Very much reduced after the after the grip. Hood sarsaparilla soon gave appetite and healthy digestion. Oh, that's why he looks so brown, because of Hood sarsaparilla. Everything I ate distressed me. In December last, I was stricken down with the grip and cannot express my suffering. When the disease left me, I was weak and had little hope of recovery. I was a mere skeleton, had no appetite, and everything I ate distressed me. My wife called my attention to Hood sarsaparilla. I told the doctor I thought I would begin to take it, and he said it might do me good. So I began, and the first dose of Hood sarsaparilla seemed to give me a desire for food. I continued to improve, and to make a long story short, I was soon able to attend to my business. I owe all to Hood sarsaparilla, and think it should be kept in every home. Hood's pills are the best after-dinner pills. Assist digestion, cure headache. Oh, this feels like what that one doctor was giving that one boy in Scarlet Hollow. Right, here's the thing here. This is the more the plays and performances that are being performed. Alright, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde once again mentioned. Agricultural activity. That seems kind of boring. We'll look at gentleman jocularity in a minute. Rock salt. Ice cream. We also carry large stock rock salt in sacks for ice cream purposes. And, well, I guess it's not ice cream, though. But they use it for ice cream. So close. You got curious and looked up what the grip meant. It's the flu. That checks out. A lot of this stuff is just funny names for other things. Book bindings. Gentleman jocularity. He married such a cold girl, poor fellow, and he is so completely wrapped up in her. Why did the policeman blah 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 blah. Oh, here's tea for constipation. Nervous system out of order, all that sort of stuff. Carbolic ointment for burns and stuff. I don't really feel like reading whatever this is. It's like hard to kind of read, to be honest. Look at all these men. Oh, look. This is a different, it's a Spanish treatment. Dr. Rodriguez. Little racist, because it's probably not made by Dr. Rodriguez. They're probably just trying to exoticize medicine to make it sound mystical and special. A female pill? What? Okay, wait, we're gonna look at this. Lost manhood. It helps lost manhood. And attending ailments. I was like, lost manhood for both young and middle-aged men and women? I was like, that doesn't sound right. Wow, they really just straight up post this. They're like, do you have erectile dysfunction? You should have this. Look, this is a metaphor. This is a metaphor for your dick right here. Droopy, less droopy, nice and perk. Okay. Offer ladies especially recommended to married ladies. Beware of, well, is it like birth control? Put up in tin boxes as they are dangerous. Ah, in tin boxes. Checks out. A fair face may prove a foul bargain. Marry a plain girl if she uses Sapolio. That is polio in the name. Pure teas. Cool. Coffee store. Alright, but Cushman's, be real with us. Are you using acorns to make your coffee? Yeah, they didn't really hold back. Well, they did hold back on the ads, see? Nothing explicit here. It's nice and delicately addressed, this sensitive issue. Over here, not so much. They weren't so sensitive over in this part. But, like, over here, Cushman's prices may be going up. That's true. That's true. They might have to use actual coffee from now on. And their teas can't all be dandelion tea. Or maybe they're gonna stop being dumb as rocks and go out to their backyard, get their own goddamn acorns and dandelions. Oh my gosh, they're also on East 5th Street. Oh my gosh, everything is happening on East 5th Street. That's crazy. Okay. Job and fancy printing. It's headquarters for all kinds of job and fancy. I don't know. I think graphic designers, like, graphic design was in its very early stages at this point in time. Tissue papers. Wow, okay. Credit, okay. Equitable credit system. Fantastic. You can buy all the furniture and stuff you want. This is a furniture ad. I think. No. No, I think it's a credit. But they only mention this might be a furniture ad. Okay. I'm gonna say distinguished gentleman for the guy in the hood sarsaparilla. Oh, but I don't have that one. I book a furniture ad. This is supposed to be a free space. I think that was selling us furniture at like low monthly payments. Get ice cream mentioned, but only make your own type of ice cream. I don't think we've had any like a what WTF and okay. I don't think so. Let me back up and review the page. Actually, no, it's not quite it. Also, this is the best ad I've seen because like read the whole story about this like FW Vormelker Jr. guy and like, you know, his whole situation. You know, like it was a engaging tale. It has to be the spectacles, not just an ad for spectacles. It has to be a picture. They didn't have a picture. There was not a picture of furniture. This is literally our furniture ad right here. This is our furniture ad. So, no picture. And it's barely a furniture ad. I think it's a furniture ad. It's not doing a great job of it. The human electrical forces. How I thought that said fires for a second. They control the organs of the body. This tells you about the nervous system. Is it gonna sell me something? Dr. Miles. Yep. What do I have on my card? These things. Yeah, we haven't looked at the card in a while. We'll pause and glance over our card. Okay, so things we're looking for: baseball. A response where we're just like, okay, which I don't feel we quite hit yet. It's like a very particular reaction. Electricity. Gotta have some sort of mention of electricity. Funny animals. Animals doing funny little things. A train wreck. A famous person, which I'm tempted to give for like Jules Verne, or we had a whole list of famous people on this day in history. We'll get famous person. I mean, they're not actually doing the anything. Normally I reserve that for people who are doing stuff, but also I don't know how long I don't think we're going to get to another paper, to be honest. Cuz I am so freaking hungry right now. So we have pianos. We saw harp. We didn't see any piano. Horrific death. I don't feel like we saw a horrific death. We didn't see a funny death. We barely saw any deaths. We just saw some suicides that weren't really that good. We didn't see any spectacles. It doesn't have to be an ad. Like, it could be spectacles on a person. There's a couple articles about him. No, he's not locally famous. He's like just for me, for my famous person, this is like when I saw an article about Edison, right? Or about like if there's an article about, I don't know, like a famous person from history, I would know. If there's an article, like if they're talking about like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle or something, right? I'd be like, oh, I know that guy. That's a name from history that stands out to me, right? Um, and uh, and it normally wouldn't be like, a president. Although I have those on the card too, but I don't think a president would count as like a famous person. Or like I said, I would count Jules Verne because they kind of mentioned him only because his book was popular. So although it's not like, and actually I think I might be giving famous person mostly for Jules Verne because they mentioned him because he was popular at the time, basically. So uh like he's not actually doing news, but it still is like he's relevant to the news of the day, if that makes sense. So so Jules Verne, I think I'm counting as famous person. Even though it's not an article about him, it mentioned him, and but it showed his impact, I guess. So it's borderline famous person, but like I said, I don't think we're gonna look. Normally, I would prefer to look at like 2 or 3 newspapers, but I was late to stream, and then I ranted a bunch, and also now I'm really hungry. So, but and this newspaper is kind of boring, so we'll take what we can get. But maybe it gets better later on. But a party, you shiver and say, "I'm taking cold," but you shiver because your system is weak and cannot resist outside influences. Cream of cod liver oil. Wow. Another pickup line. Thanks, Dan Shaming. Okay. The era of muscle. This is an athletic. Let's get it good. This is an athletic age. Everybody wants to be strong. The craze for it has well nigh reached that stage, affects both sexes and even childhood. The pugilistic phase of this fad in young America is by no means morally promising, but it is one thing to be endowed with vigor and another to be sandowed with muscle. Supermuscularity is often induced by physical effort, perilous to health, and calculated to shorten life. Yeah, don't lift weights. It'll hurt your health and shorten your life, according to this 1894 newspaper. The vigor, which means a regular and efficient discharge of the physical functions, is the first medium at which all may safely aim without causing ruptures or breaking blood vessels. Hostetter's stomach bitters is largely conducive to a gain in vigor of this sort, since it stimulates and assists digestion, promotes regular bilious secretion, and keeps the bowels in order. Sleep, that grand recuperator of nervous vigor, is encouraged by it, and it remedies malarial, rheumatic, and kidney trouble. If you get malaria, apparently you take these stomach bitters and it'll fix you right up. Also, you want to get muscle? Don't lift weights. It's bad for you. Take these stomach bitters. They just be saying anything these days, man. They really need some type of medical standards. Crazy. We need government oversight on the medicine of the 1890s, please. Also, what was it by here that's getting me? Mm, there's something about this about like everybody wants to be strong thing that just felt like usually phase it. Oh, right. On one hand, I was like, oh, this is athletic phase. Like, yeah, okay, yeah. They want to be strong, lift weights, blah, blah, blah. No one's ever wanted to do that in history before. But I kind of get it because we're not too far ahead of like Teddy Roosevelt and like the Rough Riders and stuff. And there's definitely an athletic kind of vibe with a certain demographic of the population, at least at that time. Now, this says the whole population, both sexes and childhood. So, the three genders, man, woman, and child. Okay. Saxony has the largest coal mine, its galleries being 125 miles long. Bits of information. I like they just like fun facts. Palestine that never apparently ever existed before in history. So strange. Deaths from smallpox averaged 580 a year in 1830, where now they average but 6. Wow. You know what? I'll give you progress for that. Smallpox deaths are down. Hooray. Last year, 259 people died on the steamers en route from Europe to the United States. That's a shame. Native laborers in Palestine work for 15 cents a day and pay their own expenses. Wait. Oh, wait, is that that might be the city Palestine in the US. Not actual Palestine. But it also could be, but they probably don't work for cents. So never mind. This is Palestine, right? Where that like train over the thing overturned, right? And it was bad. Remember that? Remember that? The like accident? Right? Wasn't that Palestine, Ohio? Is that a place? Right? Right? Something like that. Last season, a bunch of grapes weighing 6 pounds was raised in Washington State. Yeah, so that's what that Palestine means. Never mind. At a recent court ball at Rome, Queen Margherita, like margarita pizzas! Queen Margherita pizza wore 16 strings of pearls, the lowest hanging halfway to the waist. Cool. Okay, actually, you know what? This whole list is okay. We got another one. See, some of this stuff comes in the later pages. Some newspapers like to shove it all in their front pages and then shove their last pages with all ads. This one decided to put a bunch of boring stuff in their front pages and still do a bunch of ads in their last pages, and the ads are like the only vaguely interesting thing here, but this guy grew faint and fell into the grave of a friend the other day and received injuries from which he died. Oh my god, what? Okay. Can we say funny death for that? That's a funny death, right? Right? Like that's it's like it has like irony. It's irony, and irony is funny, right? We like irony. There's like a sort of humor to it. So he was, I guess, at a friend's grave, and then he fell in. He got injuries from his fall, and then he died from them. He died by falling into a grave. That's a funny death. I'm saying it. I'm saying it. I'm sorry. That's kind of a funny death. Wow. I think these might be all made up as well, but I'm marking it. I'm marking it. Sometimes they do this. They tell little funny stories, and you're like, is this actually real, or did you just make this up? Like, you find it funny? Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. I think it's funny. San Juan King, a Chinaman. I started a cattle ranch in Montana. He employs only Chinese on his ranch. Oh, well, go him. Good job. A good job for Asians. Asian Americans. Assuming Montana's a state. I'm not entirely certain Montana's a state. When did Montana become a state? Someone look it up. Some of those states out there up that direction, I'm not completely sure of. But sometimes states become states surprisingly late. You know? Yeah, it's like a fun fact section, kind of. Bits of information, it's called. So, you know. An auger completed by a Sonia, Connecticut firm, measuring 14 feet long and 3 inches in circumference, is reputed to be one of the largest ever made. Okay. It's announced that a furnace has been unearthed somewhere along the Nile, in which the hot blast was used centuries before from the modern Nielsen formulated the same idea. Okay. So they, like, archaeology uncovered something. Cool, I guess. I don't know. What is going on here? Root beer, hold on. Oh, this is just a syrup for diarrhea. It's sold by druggists. Typical. Hires root beer. Look at all these people, children, drinking their root beer. Makes the home circle complete. This is, what the hell are they talking about? All these people, and then they're like, whoop. Makes the home circle. How does it make the home circle complete? What does that even mean? November 1889. Oh, okay, that was 5 years before this. Imagine if we had somewhere that became a state 5 years ago. How crazy is that? At this time, Congress passed the Pure Food and Drug Act in 1906 to require drugs to have what's in them on the label, so no more Dr. Blatt's nerve tonic. Ah. We're still in that stage here. Interesting. I'll have to try to remember that for future. 1906. Because sometimes, as we have on our other thing, we almost went for the 1910s. So. Temperance root beer is an alternative. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I'm aware of that. Great. Temperance drink gives. I'm just not sure what they mean by makes the home circle complete. And they have like all these children drinking it. And then they're like, if you have it's like, are you summoning a demon? Like, if your daughter, and then your son, and then your baby each drink a root beer, and you surround them with a circle, you will summon the demon Zozo. Yeah, headline. Fat people! Forgot the exclamation mark. Very important. Oh, it's Ozempic. um, Wait, is this supposed to be a mom and a dad and a baby? Why are they like 15 and 14? It's my question. Uh-oh. Anyway, um, okay, the obesity pills will reduce your weight permanently from 12 to 13 pounds a month. No starving, sickness, or injury. No publicity. They built up the something and beautified the complexion, leaving no wrinkles or flabbiness. Stout abdomens and difficult breathing surely relieved. No experiment, but scientific and positive relief. Adopted only after years of experience. All corresponded strictly. I have a video that kind of reminds me about this actually from a very similar time period. I started making the video back when it was like the summer of 2021, I think. And it was a day I didn't finish it. It was on my old channel anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered. Um, but I like locked in one day and like edited for like 11 hours straight after like writing the video, and then I like recorded it, and then I was editing the video and everything, and it was just like voiceover. At that point I wasn't using face like cam anymore for videos. I was just doing like voiceover type of stuff and like narration. And I was going to do something that has to do with this, and for some reason I feel like, because I know the situation so well, like this story of weight loss stuff and ghosts and things like that. And like, I know it's kind of weird and complicated, but I feel like a lot of people should know it, but I don't think they do. It's not like a really famous story, but like it is famous to me because I did like a huge deep dive on it. It was like a video that would have been like, I think like an hour and a half long, maybe. Um and an hour 40 minutes, something. It's gonna be like a long video, I think. And I locked in and spent like 11 hours editing it and making it one day after I had done like, a couple weeks of research. It was in the summer of 2021 I was working on it, but I never finished it because I burnt myself out after editing for 11 hours straight. So and it was also like right before I was going home. Like I edited for like 11 hours straight, and then like 5 or 6 hours the next day, and then I was gonna go home, I think 2 days after that, and I had to like clean up my apartment and stuff just in case. I wanted to make sure it looks all nice, just in case when I was gone to visit my family for like a couple weeks. If they like needed to enter my apartment during that time, I wanted to make sure like it looked good. So I had, to run around cleaning my apartment, doing a deep clean kind of frantically. And uh and then after that I just never got back into it because like I was kind of burnt out of it from like all the effort I put into it and stuff. And now it was kind of hard because like all of my files and stuff for it are on my old desktop computer, not even the laptop I switched out back in February. It's like all my old desktop computer, and I'd have to set that up and plug it in because of course now I'm at a new apartment even, so I'd have to reset it up and like get it out of the box. And oh my god, you know how hard it is to get that computer back in that box, man. So tower is rough. Anyway, fat people. That was so funny. Okay, Farmers Farmville. Wow, real life Farmville. Spanker. They put all the weird stuff on this page. What the hell is a spanker? Someone's still on the sick list? Someone attended a funeral? This is just more stuff that people did. These are things that people are doing, but from other towns, I think. Because this is the Farmville. What people are doing in Farmville. And this is what people are doing in Spanker. This is kind of like Twitter, but for like 1894. This is what people are doing in Harrisburg, I think. Perform-year-old shoes. Okay. Gold boot. This feels like a video game thing, you know, you upgrade your boots to be gold boots. I'm getting like Stardew Valley vibe from that. This is what's happening in the West Side. Alright, there's cod liver pills. We're familiar with those. We've seen those already. Shiloh. Oh, right, Anna. These are just things that people are doing. They're a muscle we read. It's okay, we read a lot of stuff. Right, this was just telling us about the nervous system and selling us things. New patent furniture. Patent. Mayor's patent of the novel home and door secretary. Also the new rich man's secretary bookcase and sleeping apartment combined. A secretary bookcase with a sleeping compartment? What does that mean? Or a sleeping apartment combined. That doesn't help. They need a picture. This is where we need a picture of furniture, because I don't entirely know what they're talking about. Like, what? And numerous other furniture, superior from all others in style and workmanship. There's no need of repairing such in short time, as by other manufactured furniture is the case. I warrant every piece of furniture bought by me. Repair old furniture and attach my patent on order. Oh, so like, this is like just a furniture repairman guy. But he has a thing. This home and door secretary, and he will put it on things. And he has some other combined forms that he's selling. Or something. Description is this a room? Yeah. I'm like, I don't understand. I think he's like stitching furniture together or something. And he'll stitch your furniture if you give him something to repair. He'll stitch yours together with his new patent he made. You cannot do better than secure a home site. Why, certainly. Don't you know prices are low now? Bound to rise in the summer. Better take advantage of the golden opportunity. Without exaggeration, we say bargains were never seen. Only $350 for a plot, 34 by 150 feet. Think of it. No wild out-of-the-way place. Easily accessible. You are short of cash, perhaps. No matter. Installments will suit us. By hook or by crook. Own your home. Dismiss your landlord for once and forever. Wow. The text speech. They were texted all the way back then. What else do we have up here? Things are wanted. A lot of females are wanted. That's great. Let's continue reading down here, though. Lights and shades. When a man dies in France. I like that start. When a man dies in France. Tell me what happens when a man dies in France. It's called Lights and Shades, so I'm a little curious where this is going. The first bill that must be paid is the doctor's. The custom of bottling tears is... Oh, are we just getting more... What? The custom of bottling tears is... These things are not related to each other. Is peculiar to Persia. There it constitutes an important part of the obsequies of the dead. Why is it called Lights and Shades? An Onslow, North Carolina woman caught a chicken thief recently by sinking a barrel in the floor of her hennery and filling it with tar. What a zany contraption. Was that North Carolina woman Fred, what the hell's Fred's last name? I'm blanking right now. You do leave that real estate price? Yeah, pretty nice. It is a good price. That is true. Fred. What's his Fred. Anyway, That joke would have landed way better if I remembered his last name. Anyway, perhaps the poorest opinion of music as a vocation is attributed to a certain excellent master builder in an eastern city. What? Poorest opinion of a musician as a vocation attributed to master builder in an eastern city. This man had sent his son to college, where the young man excelled in. This means the Far East. This is like China or Korea or Japan or something like that. So an Asian parent sent his son to college, where the young man excelled in musical accomplishments. In the course of time, he announced to his father his intention to become a musician. The father objected vehemently. I can see that. That can check out. It's kind of weird though. I feel like, as someone who's not Asian myself, I feel like music in particular is something that is either a complete hit or a complete miss with Asian parents. As I've known like plenty of Asian people who like are, virtuoso musicians, right? I guess though the parents still don't consider it like an actual career, you know? They just want their kid to be very good at it anyway. But they're like, no, 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 you cannot do that for your career. It's not lucrative. Um, I don't know. I'm just thinking of like my friends in school and stuff. But um father objected vehemently. The son begged and at last was affected to tears, declaring that he should never be happy in any other calling. This melted the father's heart, and he exclaimed, "All right, do as you like, but don't you ever come around grinding your organ in front of my house." Okay. For some reason, I'm so used to innuendos that, like, I was like, I get an organ grinder, but I'm like, is this supposed to be like a dirty joke or something? But I don't think it is. I think it's just a story where he's like, okay, well, you're gonna be a street musician then, is where you're gonna end up, but I don't want you asking me for money. That's not a very good story, and it took up a lot of print space compared to these other well, I don't know. The Man Dies in France story was really lame. Let's be real. The bottling tears thing seemed kind of cool. The chicken thief one was the best. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 might be a lot. 5 out of 5. I know 5 out of 5 sounds like a 10 out of 10, but it's not. The Grand, not as good. Okay. Bacon Celery King for the nerves. We're just throwing words out right now. Bingo. That's what we're doing right now. I got, in place of cotton, I got a lot of my last summer's underwear the other day. What did you do that for? I had the earache. Oh, I got out a lot of my last. So he put his underwear in his ear because he had an what? So to clean out his ear maybe with his underwear. I don't know. I don't understand. What is that word? When you want a whiskey? Oh, it is whiskey. Okay, I was like, I want it to be whiskey, but I'm not seeing whiskey in it. But I see it now. Okay, cool. There are 187 pounds of salt in a ton of water from the Dead Sea. In the amount is 81 pounds to every ton. Cool. Glad they printed that news. People's column. Terms cash in. Okay, this is the people. These are the people wanted. They want these people. Clairvoyant. Mrs. Charles Mercer. Clairvoyant and business medium. Tells past, present, and future. Ooh. East 3rd Street. It's not East 5th Street. She's not as cool. She's not part of the cool kid club, but I bet you she's still popular anyway. People just go to her in secret. Do you want money? Yes. At auction. Dressmaking. Oh, I was like, ooh, what's the glad tidings? Right, I forgot that's Bacon Celery King. Okay, next page. For sale, horses. Look at this man. Mothers, do you know? Hold on. They're talking about opium. Talking about opium to mothers. Wait, this looks like baseball to me. We have a baseball. Oh, if only we did a gazette. You know, if we did a second newspaper, we would definitely have a bingo because we could target specifically finding a gazette. But we're not quite there. Now are we? We're not doing that. It's only paper this stream. So we're not going to have that bingo because we're not going to get a gazette. So sad. So sad. Ready relief for internal external use. More medicines. More medicines. I'm kind of getting bored of the medicines. Radaway. This is like Radaway. This is like Fallout. Get your Radaway. Diseases of the kidney. Woman's best friend. Jack says, I heard that girl you have been going to see so long is to be married next month. Tom says sadly, or he says it sadly. It's true, she is. That's pretty tough on you, isn't it? Tom, resignedly. I guess I can stand it. Who was the happy man? I am. I see. I see. Two walk from a bingo hoping a picture of a couch or something. Oh, you need that picture of the furniture? Maybe. So in this story, Tom has been courting this girl, and Jack is like, I heard that girl you've been courting is gonna be married. And Tom is all sad, and he's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, who is she marrying? And he's like, me, unfortunately. Ha ha ha. Man doesn't like his wife. You need a what? Ooh. That can be kind of tough. It's hard to predict a what. We've been close. Oh, a picture of a shoe. Oh my gosh, do you see this guy's mustaches? He needs to restore his manhood. He needs to restore his manhood. Oh no. This is the best $3 shoe in the world. Every woman needs this. Look at her. She's so smug. Humphrey's veterinary. They put a lot of animals on this. If you want to get into a fat office, hire yourself to a soap boiler. What does that even mean? Because misfortunes never come singly should be no argument against marriage. A Washington man who advertised the finding of an umbrella is the subject of a page article in a leading weekly of that city. Okay, so a guy in Washington, I'm assuming they mean Washington, D.C., found an umbrella and he put an ad in the paper saying that he found the umbrella, and then they made a full page article about him. That so sounds like the internet. A sideways ad also. Oh, I think we had a sideways ad. We had a sideways ad on. Okay, we're on page 6. Hold on, we'll be back. Yeah, here we go. A sideways ad. Yeah, the soap ad. Barter remembers. Yeah, the soap ad was sideways. That's a sideways ad for you. You don't see them too much in these days. So what the hell is this baseball team? Hold on. Well, I think we'll get to that in a minute. We were down here. Right. Learning about men and women. Oh, right. Okay, they made a full page article about the Umbrella Man. Man's indignation against the contemptible sneak who passed a plug dollar on him never cools until he has passed it on someone else. Wow, those are words that I didn't quite understand once I put them all together. This person is a licensed Baptist preacher. She is said to be the only woman in that state who has authority to officiate at a wedding in a clerical capacity. Wow, good for her. Good for a woman. This guy lost his power of speech several years ago as a result of a fever. He dreamed one night recently that he could talk, and when he woke in the morning, he found that his dream was true. Oh, is there something for like mystical or something like that? If you have that on your cards, that would count for that. There's something along those lines. I don't really care about that one. Frank H. Wright. It's like Frank Lloyd Wright. A full-blooded Indian has been conducting a series of revival meetings. 13 young men and women said to be prominent socially have signed a pledge to give up dancing, card playing, and theater going for the rest of their lives. Oh, that's so sad. Oh. A regular dinner. I'm sorry, I'm not even gonna say it, but like, oh my god. Like, good lord. I don't even understand. Like, what is the point? It was cooked yesterday, boss, but it takes a little time to warm it up. Truth. Like, and the waiter says it unconsciously. What does this mean? What is this story? Is it just an excuse to be racist? Okay, here's the picture, but like the picture isn't helping me. I'm not really understanding. Oh, but look at that. You can kind of see that man's mustache he uses. The manhood revivers, for sure. He would too. Damn racist. Okay. Are the animals doing funny things? Let's see. Two wrens built protected by its natural enemy. Two wrens built their nest beneath the eaves of a farmhouse in Pennsylvania and gradually grew quite tame. At first, the farmer's white cat used to lie in wait for the birds as they hopped about for crumbs, but a sound thrashing taught her to respect them as members of the same household as herself. One day, a baby wren fell out of the nest and the cat pounced on it. All of a sudden, seeming to recollect her former punishment, she merely touched the tiny thing with her paw and then squatted close by and watched it. By and by, a yellow snake crawled towards the nestling, and dozing Pussy was roused by the wee wren's fluttering. She saw at once what was wrong, and struck at the snake with her paw, but still the snake tried to catch the bird. Thereupon the cat seized the snake behind the head and killed it with one bite. This feels like a fable. When the farmer came along, he observed the cat crouching in the grass sheltering the wren, and the dead snake some 10 feet off. It was plain that Pussy had carried the bird away from the snake, as if to make sure no further harm should befall it. The wren was put back again into the nest to its parents' great joy. Really, the parents still took care of it after all of that? That's kind of low-key surprising. I'll get funny animals. That sounds like a funny animal story. It's not super funny. We're almost there. We just need a WTF. Honestly, that last racism was almost a WTF, but okay. What is this continued from? Is kind of my question. Oh, it's not. It just doesn't start with a capital. That's cool. Racist gets told the restaurant reheats food rather than cooking it fresh for him. I mean, I I guess. I don't. It doesn't feel like, I don't know. Maybe it's just because today it just doesn't feel like it really lands. Because he's like waiting. He's like, "What's taking the food so long?" And he's like, "It takes a while to heat it up." And it's like, dude, if you're not even cooking it fresh, shouldn't it be there even faster? I don't know. It just it doesn't. I don't know. I don't get it. Oh, this is about that wine that we saw on the other page. Yeah, maybe it's old humor, or maybe it's like referencing something. I don't know. I want to see an explicit response. Did you tell the hired girl that you couldn't put up with her work? Asked Mr. Slimmons at the dinner table. Mr. Slimmons. I don't think I like that man. Did you tell her, the hired girl, you couldn't put up with her work? That's rude. Yes, what did she say? She said that there was nothing keeping me here if I didn't like the place. Oh, I get it. I get it. She's like a housekeeper, and uh and I guess the housekeeper or the man of the house is like, did you to ask maybe his wife, did you tell that maid that you don't like her maid work? She's bad at keeping the house clean. And she's like, yeah, but the maid told me that I can leave if I don't like it. Ha. W maid. Electric bitters. Electric bitters, not electric. They'll remove pimples though. And they'll get rid of malaria. No, it is electric bitters. Never mind. That's a typo in their headline. Yep, it is electric bitters. Wow. SSS. Trademark. It removes cancer. Wow. Someone should tell the world. Cancer cure right here. Whatever it is. Does SSS stand for anything? Apparently not. It's just the SSS. Yeah, that's sure thing, buddy. Florida orange shippers. Oh, what? Okay, we read all that stuff. Here are the shoes. Did we read over here? No, we haven't read this stuff. We read about the bird, though. I don't think any of this stuff is very... Extract of beef. Okay. Look at all these. Important to ladies. Bladder, nervous, blah, blah, blah. Dr. France. Union Depot. Horses. Chiropodists and manicures. Ingrowing toenail treated. Wow. Corns and bunions and stuff. That's cool. Some other doctors or whatever. We'll get to that mother's thing in a minute. I want to read about this. The Daytons whitewashed the Columbus ball players in a score of 12-0. On top again. Witnessed by a large and enthusiastic crowd. 2,318 admission tickets sold. You know what? That's feeling like it's pretty good for Dayton, Ohio. Back in the 1890s. But it makes sense because that was like, you know, baseball was really popular, but that still feels like a pretty solid amount of people for, you know, the population was a lot smaller then, and it's, you know, feels like it's pretty good. Okay, hmm. Hmm. This is just what? Passing through two fingers, ready on tearing the flesh badly. What happened? And catching one of Dilk's characteristic hot shots in the latter half of the second inning. The ball caught him in the right hand at the knuckles of the third and little fingers, breaking the bones of the little finger, and passing through the two fingers, spreading them wide and tearing the flesh badly. What the hell? How hard did they throw that baseball? Dilk pitches a terrific ball, I'd say. Jesus. Were they not wearing like an umpire glove? What? Because Dilk is the pitcher. I'm assuming we're talking about, or not that, but sorry, the catcher. But like, were they not wearing a catcher's mitt? Williams wanted to stay and see the game finished, but he was forced by friends to seek a physician. He returned later and witnessed the complete shutout of the Columbus Nine. This other guy was put in as, oh yeah, he was the catcher. Did they not play with catcher's mitts? Hmm. Blah, 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 blah. Victor Crumb was in this match. Wow. Okay, okay, what's the Florida orange shippers? In China, visiting cards are red in color. 24. Oh wow, this is more fun facts. 24-hour face clocks. This is like our third fun fact section of this newspaper. 24-hour face clocks. This is like the BuzzFeed nonsense. Face clocks are numerous in New York show windows. Wait, clocks that have 24 hours? Like, that's weird. I've never seen one of those. I've never seen, like, a clock, like a normal clock, have 24 hours on it. It's always just 12. It's the area where sports is pretty brutal. Yeah, but, like, baseball doesn't really need to be brutal. You could just play with a mitt. Just seems very silly. Seems very silly. They back when baseball was at its height, take me out to the ball game, all that, America's, favorite sport and all that nonsense. They weren't playing with gloves the whole time. Completely rewrites my mental image of baseball in the 1890s. The mayor of Philadelphia gets a salary of $12,000, and it is now proposed to increase it to $20,000. Okay, go ahead. While George Schenck of Mystic, Connecticut, was extolling the merits of a horse to a buyer the other day, the animal fell down and died. Awkward. The largest map of the world is in course of preparation by the government. It will represent the United States and cover an acre in area. Wow. Did the U.S. really make that map? I wanna see it. Is it made in history? Is it a thing? Nope, N-word. This man, a lovely black gentleman, um, who recently plowed up $6 on his patch of ground, is said to have given up his farm work entirely now to dig for silver. Don't make fun of him. Pennsylvania produced. You're just jealous because you didn't get any silver in your patch of ground. Pennsylvania produces nearly. Hold on, readjusting my mental. 2 million tons of iron in the anthracite furnaces, nearly 3 million in bituminous furnaces, and 17,000 tons of charcoal iron. Over 628 million tons of anthracite coal have been mined in the state, and one oil field has yielded 150 million barrels. Wow, fun facts. The new Broad Street station of the Pennsylvania Railroad in Philadelphia, when completed, will contain over 100 miles of concealed electric wiring. About 53 miles of wire will be required for the electric lighting alone, which will be done with about 10,000 incandescent lights. Guess what we have, guys? We have electricity. Oh my gosh, we could literally get 2 bingos if we picked a Gazette from Florida. But we can't get this either. We can't get this one either. Why, of all the possible bingos on this card, I mean, I guess we're also one away from a what. But of all the with this one, but of all of the bingos, 2 of them are ones that we cannot get. We cannot possibly get on this card. Or well, yeah. Because we're not getting, we can't get them in this paper. Or WTF. Oh yeah, it's true. It's true. The WTF. So we have 4 bingo options. And 2 of them we're not getting, but we have 2 still in the running. A WTF and a what? And again, those both are pretty tricky. They're pretty tricky. Florida orange shippers are trying a new plan. The experiment is being made sending fruit loose in bulk in the cars. It is estimated that the grower shipper will save 12.5 cents per box, and the receivers report that the fruit so far sent this year has arrived at its destination in first-class condition. That makes sense. As long as you, pack it in there. You don't need separate boxes. This guy's Superior Court of Baltimore has just rendered a decision in which he holds that it is the duty of the city to keep the sidewalks in repair. Damn straight. It was held by Judge Ritchie in his decision that the sidewalk is as much a part of the public highway as the bed of the street, and that the abutting owner had no more right of property in the sidewalk than in the street bed. Okay. Right, we read this stuff, right? Yeah. Okay, I think we just have to read. Oh, President McBride did something. Where's he president of? Who knows? Oh. Okay, this is like just printing or something like that. Where's the thing about the mothers? These people want a settlement. Probably people arguing about coal or something. Okay. Castoria for infants and children. Mothers, do you know that some things, so-called soothing syrups, and most remedies for children are composed of opium or morphine? Do you know that opium and morphine are stupefying narcotic poisons? Sensible job, yeah, it's pretty fair. I mean, but maybe we only think it's fair because that's the, the ruling that exists now. Do you know that you should not, or sorry, do you know that in most countries, druggists are not permitted to sell narcotics without labeling them poisons? Do you know? I like how we say, did you know, I feel like. But do you know that you should not permit any medicine to be given your child unless you or your physician know of what it is composed? Do you know that Castoria is a purely vegetable preparation and that a list of its ingredients is published with every bottle? Do you know that Castoria is the prescription of the famous Dr. Samuel Pitcher, that it has been in use for nearly 30 years, and that the more Castoria is now sold than all around? Why are we combining like multiple questions in one do you know? Chill. Separate these out, man. Do you know that the Patent Office, Department of the United States, and of other countries have issued exclusive right to Dr. Pitcher and his assigns to use the word Castoria and its formula, and that to imitate them is a state prison offense? Well, it's just they filed a patent, man. Like, congrats. Like, just because you filed a patent for something doesn't mean people should buy your product over the others, because you literally didn't even, it's not even a patent, it's like a trademark. You literally just filed a trademark. But maybe people are saying Castoria, and, as like a type of medicine, and they're like calling everything aspirin or something when it's not, or whatever, or Advil or whatever. Do you know that one of the reasons for granting this government protection was because Castoria had been proven to be absolutely harmless? Do you know, sure. 35 average doses of Castoria are furnished for 35 cents, or 1 cent a dose. Do you know that when possessed of this perfect preparation, your children may be kept well, and that you may have unbroken rest? Well, these things are worth knowing. They are facts. The facsimile signature of Pitcher is on every wrapper. Yeah, congrats. They're just so proud of their newfangled technology. They're like, wow, we're gonna copy his signature on every wrapper. Look at us, we're so fancy. Children cry for Pitcher's Castoria. Dude, if children are crying with anything to do for medicine, they're not crying for it. They're crying because of it. I'm sorry. Just had to. We gotta be honest. Okay, this page feels like it took a long time. But advice to mothers while we're on it here. What is going on over here? Oh, this looks so boring. Royal Anne cherries. Oh my god. Oh, a tea for ladies. Children cry for Pitcher's Castoria. A clam with claws of a fish hawk firmly held by its shell was picked up at Southport. MC. Whatever that means. A short time ago. North Carolina? Did they mean NC? I'm not really sure I understand what MC is, but sure. Lightning hot drops. The old-fashioned way of curing a cold. Okay. The hill of Zion yields 1,000 sacred sweets. Before we reach the heavenly fields or walk the golden streets, then let our songs abound and every tear be dry. We are marching through Emmanuel's ground to fairer worlds on high. What are they talking about? Is this some sort of crusade speech? What? Okay. Valuable advice to mothers. I don't know, take this medicine or something. They come to Christians in everyday life, for God allows good people to encounter them. They all have their struggles, but in the end, they step into the light. Okay, this is just a guy's sermon. I don't think we're gonna read it. Screw that crap. What's your name, little boy? And the boy says his name and his age. Doesn't sound correct at all. What is this? This is... Okay, we have a rhyming poem. You know, we'll say rhyming poem. It's in there. It's not like the way we normally see it. Normally there's like a whole special little printed poem that they specially print. It's like poem of the day type of thing. But wow, this is a hell of a long sermon. Oh. Um the lives were saved by, guess what, another fake medicine. An umbrella, just like that one paper. Petroleum washing compound. Okay, so this is the last page. What the hell? Hat conformator. Can shape a hat according to the shape of your head. Okay, you know what? WTF for this, man. We got it. We got him. We got him, bingo. Sometimes it's hard to hit that WTF just right, but this is it. What the fuck? It's like the image really does it. Like this hand, bro, this is AI. I really should add, looks like done by AI. Looks like AI. Sounds / looks like AI. I think it's gonna be, I have to add it at some point. Because what is this? Although he does use the manhood restorer. The model sells hats at 1/3 less money than hat stores want. The model has all the latest shapes. What? Wait, what? 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 Oh, okay, never mind. The model is the name of the store. I got it. Okay, that makes sense now. Okay, I get it. I get it. These are the types of hats that exist. The blank stare on the guy looks like some Victorian mind. You know what it does? It's like lobotomy time. Honestly, it's what it looks like. Okay. Oh my gosh, look at that lady. Slay. Exclusive spring effects in wrap. We can give you choice of the best something offer the season by something largest importers manufacturers. Suits. Suits. Another deep cut prices in flowers. Oh, a lot of these people are on East 3rd Street too, actually. You know, I'm learning a lot about Dayton, Ohio. City shoe store. Well, that other people had the best shoe you can buy for $3, so like, you know. Oh, but these people are on East 5th Street, you know, and that's where prime real estate. So I don't know. I don't know who to choose for my shoes. Worn out faces rejuvenated. You don't have the mustache diagram. Facial soap, but the other soap was sideways, so you know, just saying. Oh my god. Okay, let's look down here. Okay, this is just someone using a tonic. Arthur Hart, the old farmer who is in jail, charged with incest with his elder daughter, was arraigned before Squire Smith late Saturday afternoon on a second charge of raping his younger daughter. He pleaded guilty and was remanded to jail. Oh my gosh. Hey, Arcus. This man raped his daughters. Welcome. A noisy quartet. 2 shots are fired. Wait, what? Were they singing and then people were like, screw you, and shot at them? I'm sorry, we need to zoom in here. Yesterday afternoon, several police officers were called to the vicinity of the fairgrounds, where near the riverbank they found 2 men and 2 women, all colored in the beat of an interesting argument. Oh, okay. Well, that's not a quartet. The residents in the vicinity claim that the quartet were, I mean, I guess there's 4 of them, but I want to call it a quartet, were fighting among themselves, and that one of the women shot twice at one of the men. Okay, girl power. She was probably right. Especially in this time period, just saying. Nobody was hurt, however. The belligerents were arrested and registered as William Martin, Clara White, Tom Martin, and Clara Brown. Okay, so the guys were brothers, and the Claras weren't sisters because they're both Clara, but they're Clara White and Clara Brown. Are you sure they gave you their real names? I'm sorry. I just what? Yeah, wait. There's your what? I'm sorry. It just is funny to me that it's Clara White and Clara Brown, but that's a what? What? Clara White and Clara Brown? What? It reminds me of that one woman with DID, Eve White and Eve Black, right? Kind of what it reminds me of. Free coupons. All right, the watercolors. Right, I forgot about that. Dressmaker, architects, facial blemishes removed. Go get a facial. This guy died. Tippy canoe. Wow. Wow. The funeral occurred. Tippy canoe. Funerals aren't funny, guys. They're not funny. Oh, COXEY again. Superfluous hair permanently removed. Oh wow. Already shaven. Plasterers Union asking for less hours, better pay. Give it to them. Yes, they deserve it. Oh my god, this guy killed. Okay, we need to look over there. Some interesting stuff over there. Ladies, get your bonnets. I don't know what's going on here, but it's a lot of words I don't care about. This is the telephone number of the Humane Society. Telephone is 207. This is their phone number, guys. This is their phone number. This one we have to go. Okay, good night. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. How am I doing? I'm good. I'm good. Well, I don't know. I wasn't very good. I started streaming because I argued with my mom for like a long time about the protests and stuff out here and ICE and stuff like that. So I'm actually not in the best of moods, to be completely honest. But this is the phone number. This is their phone number, guys. 207. 207. Imagine your phone number being 207. That's it. 207. You pull up your phone, you dial 207, and you get through to the Humane Society of Dayton, Ohio. The YMCA orchestra will furnish music. Yay! It's a social. There will be ice cream, cake, and you know what? Actually, we're gonna put ice cream for that. Second bingo. Or sorry, no. Third bingo. Ice cream. There's ice cream. It's not selling it, but it is. I like the color blue in my eyes. So thank you. I chose the color myself. Oh, a pioneer of this city died last evening. The residence of his daughter on 3rd Street. Oh, they're a 3rd Street type of family. I see. Not 5th Street. Got it. He was 86 years of age and came to the city years ago from Warren County. He had been making his home with his daughter for some time past and was widely known. Among his other children is Jacob DuBois Jr., a member of the police force. Oh, copper. Okay. Fireman building. Sued for $10,000 for breach of promise. Someone promised to marry her, but then they didn't. What? Oh, yeah, okay. A wealthy young man of that county, Paul Finch, who's a wealthy young man. She claims that Finch disappointed her on 3 wedding days. What the hell does that mean? Did they try to get married 3 times, but he backed out each time? Girl, stop trying to marry that man. Give up. Not gonna work. As the name of Miss Irene Moore does not appear in the Dayton directory, the matter could not be verified at this point. What a weird news story. Do not ruin your eyes. Don't do it. But they could have put a picture of spectacles here, but they didn't. They didn't. Oh, we have 3 bingos. 1, 2, I think. 3, yeah, diagonal. 1 diagonal, 2 vertical. Just looking for that piece of furniture. Sweet, sweet picture of furniture. The other bingos are good. Like, we can't get these 2, and these others feel a little bit far off. So, I mean, maybe we'll be like, bam, bam. No, we can't. We can't get this one, and we can't. Well, this one's not far off, but we can't get 1910s. So there's 3 bingos here that we can't get. And there's only 5 things that we can have. We're looking for pianos, a horrific death, picture of furniture, train wreck, or spectacles. And we haven't had a horrific death. You'll know when it's a horrific death. Picture of furniture, bicycle, I see. Or the World's Fair in watercolors. Good lord. You don't need to print it all the time. We've got the shoes to fit the feet. Come and get them. Man, people sure wrote interesting article. You know, honestly, I like it. I was debating about that other shoe place and this shoe place. Now it's on Main Street. I don't know where Main Street plays into the social status of Dayton, Ohio, but in 1894. But I have a good feeling because I like this ad. We've got the shoes to fit the feet. Come and get them. Nice and simple and straight to the point. Look how they boldened the word. Shoes, feet. Yep. That's it. Shoes, feet. Got it. They know what they're about. Okay, I just saw Baptist Church and I don't care. 3 dozen eggs for 25 cents, guys. 3 dozen eggs for 25 cents. 3 dozen eggs for 25 cents. The price of eggs sure has gone up. Extend their thanks to their friends for the sympathy and kindness extended during their recent sad bereavement, the loss of their little daughter, Helen. Aw, poor Helen. R.I.P. Helen. F's in chat for Helen. Supreme bench vacancies. Judge Van R. Patterson of the State Supreme Court has tendered his resignation to Governor Markham and has formed a law partner. Okay, I don't care. Cholera spreading rapidly in Lisbon. Oh, right. That's what they said on like the front page or something like that. There were 128 fresh cases of cholera here Saturday in Lisbon. The disease is spreading rapidly on the left bank of the Tagus, but as yet, the right bank has remained unaffected. Thank God, don't let people cross that river. Cholera has appeared in Castello province of Beira. I don't know how to pronounce it. What would happen if they advertised 3 dozen eggs for that price now? Oh my god, yeah. Well, eggs are like $1 million now. Yeah. Like, literally a dozen eggs here is like $12. It's like $12. $10 to $12. So, like, if we get so many eggs for that money. Okay, this guy killed his father in Michigan. Jay Seymour was shot and instantly killed by his 16-year-old son. Seymour was drunk and was beating the boy. Oh, never mind. W son. Seymour was drunk and was beating the boy when the latter drew a revolver and fired a bullet through his father's heart. Yep. Slow clap. Good job. Yeah. I love it. Love to see it. And you know what? That might be the note we're ending on here. Cigar makers. Yeah, I think we've seen everything on this page. Yep. The weird plumbing. I don't know if I page into the plumbing World's Fair. Oh yeah, that thing again. Right, this is the other shoe store. I don't like the shoe store. Look at this. Look at this. So many words. I hate. Like, what the hell is this? I think this was the ad I saw, and I said, yeah, graphic design was like not a thing. What the hell is this? This though, I like it. It's good. Good stuff. It's a Dayton Herald. Never mind. Okay. Yep. I think that's it. I think this is the only paper we have time for because, like I said, it's getting kind of late and I'm hungry as hell. So, but here's our bingo. We got 3 bingos. That's pretty good. Yeah, the back pages of this paper. You know, the thing is, overall, the paper was kind of a letdown. Not that great. I promise I have had better old newspaper bingos. Like, I'll probably do a few more this summer, and they'll be better. I promise. Like, this one was kind of a letdown. I think it's a Dayton, Ohio issue, which maybe I should have realized that Dayton, Ohio just sounds super boring. Like, there's small town America. Small town America can be, like, really kind of weird, but Dayton, Ohio just doesn't feel like it fits that small town America vibe. You know? Like, it just doesn't feel right, you know, as one of those little spaces. But yeah, so maybe we should have gone for Florida. Florida never disappoints, really, except for when it does disappoint very heavily. But with the new crazy news stories, At least these days, Florida doesn't disappoint. But yeah, but you know, we managed to find a lot. We managed to find a lot in here, surprisingly. I'm actually really surprised by the amount we got. Again, for such a very like meh newspaper, we crossed off a lot on our bingo sheet. So, pretty good, pretty good. Successful stream. We've bingoed. We've bingoed 3 times. 3 bingos. 3 whole bingos. Oh my god. We have ads for another like minute. Anyway, bingo, 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 bingo. But we didn't get that many bingos. We got bingo, bingo, bingo though. We got 3 bingos. Anyway, that is it for today. Oh, it's around $13 for you. I didn't see that. $15 for you guys. Wow. I'm not even sure if you can hear me because the ads, but that's fine. That's crazy. That's $15 for you. Yeah, why are LA prices so cheaper? I'm very concerned how much eggs are now. Did they go up when I wasn't looking? Maybe they went up. My prices are a couple months old, so maybe they went up when I wasn't looking. But yeah. So that's it for today. Saturday we'll be doing Spooky Saturday. And we will be doing some sort of spooky game. I don't know what spooky game we will be playing, but it will be spooky. And it will, I promise, spookiness. And then on Sunday, right, Sunday is Fairy Tale Theater Day, and also I'll be showing my chibi model, which it's not that exciting, but it's cute. It's a cute little model. Again, not super exciting, but cute, And yeah. So you guys playing along your own bingo cards. How many bingos? What time Sunday? Ooh, good question. I'm not sure yet. It'll probably be a little bit earlier maybe than usual. Or no. I mean, like I said, I think we might only watch 2 of them for sure, maybe a third, but we'll see. But I don't think it's gonna like be a super duper long stream. So maybe like I'll try to make it properly like around 5 Pacific. Maybe a little earlier if it feels reasonable for me and comfortable for me to do so, but if I'm like rather than me just like sit around waiting to stream, then like I'd stream earlier, but probably 5, I think. Again, because like it's been so cloudy in the mornings and I get up and then it's like cloudy until noon and then I kind of sit around and like I don't feel very motivated to do anything until like noon or maybe even 1 o'clock or you know, and then by the time I actually start doing stuff I only have like a few hours and then I'm like, oh god, it's already time to stream. Where did the day go? I thought I had a whole full day before streaming. And then like I actually don't because I just didn't do anything because it was kind of cloudy and it was very like kind of depressing seeming. It's just I like the morning. Mornings are my favorite time of day. And it's really sad when you know, it's just cloudy and stuff, but to watch the VOD. Hoping you'll make it. Well, hopefully you do. Hopefully you do. And if not, that's fine. You can watch the VOD too. That's still fun. I watch the VODs of many a streamer. Like most of my favorite streamers are daytime streamers. And like that's great if like they happen to stream like on a weekend is good. Or if when I'm off work, which is nice. Like now I don't have to go back in. I don't think I might have to go back in like a couple times throughout the summer, but for the most part, I don't think I have to go back into work for a while. So until like sometime in August. So hooray. But so I can finally watch my daytime streamers. Thank God, finally. But otherwise I always am stuck watching VODs and stuff. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a tragedy, really. Some of my top favorite streamers are daytime streamers. Not right. Not right. They should stream in the evening or at night. At least sometimes. Kitbogo used to do evening streams, but then he stopped. Because to be fair, the scammers are all asleep. Because most of them like aren't in the US, so they tended to be asleep. Because like they're not, or also because like they're not scamming people. Because honestly, it might be more reasonable time for them in the evenings, in like the other places where the scammers are, but they don't work in the evenings because like banks aren't open in the US, so there's no like point to like go tell them to take money out of the bank, right? Because like there's no banks aren't open. So but yeah, so and also Kippo goes on the East Coast, so I understand that too. It's also not necessarily, it's pretty late for him if he streams in my evening time. But yeah. What was I gonna say? I think that's it. Um yeah. So I will be back on Sunday. Or no, well we'll have a special thing on Sunday. I'll be back on Saturday for spooky Saturday. And we'll do some, like, I don't know what game yet, but we'll play a spooky game for sure. And this for sure this time. Last time it didn't really happen, sadly. That's like 2 spooky Saturdays in a row that really didn't happen. A real shame. A real shame. But this Saturday, we'll make sure. We'll make sure there's spookiness involved. Gotta have. So I'll be back for that. In the meantime, you can subscribe to my YouTube, follow me on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok, and join the Discord. Thanks everyone for hanging out, for chatting or lurking, and thank you, future VOD watchers as well. This has been Indie Horror Bingo. I keep saying that now. This has been Old Newspaper Bingo. Hopefully it's been fun. Once again, let's flip back over real quick and see our bingo card. Look at that. Ooh. Bingo card. We got 3 bingos. That's pretty successful, actually. I'm happy with that. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. I'll be back on Saturday. I'll be around on my socials in the meantime, of course, but I'll be back here on Saturday. And hopefully everyone has a good night and a good day in nights in the meantime. Yeah. Goodbye.